Testing 1, 2, 3. Yeah, this your boy DJ, bro. We on Treka, know better, do better. We're gonna get this going. A little bit of tea for to start us out. Let's do it.
Let me tell you this.
I'm a woman of very few words, and that's in a lot.
Living in the underground, always looking up. Currently the world just ain't enough. Been holding on to love and to trust, but life's far from just numb and rough. Been grinding just to move on up, when reality hands out heavy fucking slugs. Testing the internal fortitude of my intestines. Blessings don't lessen the pain of the lessons. I'll only switch up to flip up my middle finger. Fuck it, the game and I are no strangers. Won't let us go for death and no danger. It's my time, I'll fucking spit for 5 fingers. Cause who needs the light of a lighter when you can light a fire with a cipher? And I am the direction of the future, so let me take you there like I'm the Uber.
I'm a woman of very few words, and that's in a lot.
Everything worth living for is real. Make the choice, deal or no deal. You go get it before it's the final meal. Once it's gone for real. God gave me the strength to heal. Take this pain to turn the wheel. Make life one that truly feels like it's forever real.
Nobody ever believed he was real. Nobody ever knew him or saw anybody that ever worked directly for him. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist.
More shocking than the EKG, young Kilo G, yeah, you know me. Beat door with the master key. Doors stay on the floor, cause I've been low-key. I'm the hometown hero, I am hard as a spear throw. Fly as a paratroop, jumping straight in your ear hole. If you don't use your ears, what the heck is you here for? I could die if I cry, but I won't shed a tear though. How you stop a black man from voting? Jail. Send him there with no knowledge of self. Create schools that are more like cells. Destroy his manhood and he surely will fail. Harder than braille, hard to swallow like kale. Man, I know myself, and I know very well. Aim like William Tell, as if you can tell. Man, I'm flow so hot, I burn the devil in hell. Blowing like CB4, still on E14. The game want my soul, my brother's still on parole. I told my mama I don't do what I'm told, I just do what I know. Amaranth from the way that I grow. One ring like Frodo, around the world like a yo-yo. Boy, I stay in the dojo, and they can't take my mojo. Man, the flow is for loco, evil like Mojo Jojo. No coon like Domo, freestyle pro bono. Caliber like Gallagher, with my Excalibur. This the final fantasy, hit fools with my magica. Shoot like Gallagher, crawl like Tarantula. I'm the main character, and there's Zabranica. Internet was made by a black man. I'm not Al Gore, I'm that man. Sealing sucker's face with the fat man. Hard to kill like a samurai on his last stand. With his last hand in the last dance. It's your last chance, thinking in advance before you die. Truth or lies, no alibis. This is the present moment, don't be surprised. And still I rise, like I raise your vibe, percolate your mind when I step inside. I'm so dang wet, my name is Slip and Slide. I'm a lion's pride, and I just let that ride.
I'm just speaking the truth. Yeah. Cause I swear I don't get it. You know, it's like, it's real. They want me to rock the nice chain on, the Rolex diamond watch. I don't even rock with the physical like that. I'm trying to tap people back into their souls, you know what I'm saying? It's real. Look. I don't mess with the physical, but if I get to shining, then maybe they'll listen though. Maybe I ain't deviating, I'm still on a mission, bro. Trying to wake the blind, don't see which way to go. Hey, I don't mess with the physical, I'm just tapping into the soul. Living life on the go. Rabbit hole, it get deep, I'm going as deep as it go. You can fish in the bowl, I'm breaking the code. No defense, he is fibbing not. Hit him with this knowledge, hit him like I'm right. Gotta keep it humble, no need to get cocky. High frequency, I don't think you can top it. So I'm here to let you know, you got in the flesh, that's for sure. Hold on to your mind, never ever let it go. I'm just trying to build, trying to get it off the floor. Waking people up, time to get in God mode. It's for real. Yeah, it's real. Yeah, it's real. Yeah, it's real. I keep it real.
flexing like you woke. See straight through you, I don't need no telescope. I don't need your constitution, I don't need your white hope. I don't need your good deeds, taking hits, mouth around like I'm Creed. Why you plotting on my essence? Yeah, steady counting on my blessings. Yeah, this ain't equal competition. If you can't keep it real, it's your character and vision. Only follow intuition, state facts. Never like saying shit I gotta take back. Got the kind of vibe that you can't hijack. Me and my crew set, I put that on my zodiac. Yeah, and I keep it wavy. Stay rooted deep so you really can't shake me. Keep my aura clear so your energy don't phase me. Too elevated so my soul can be great deep.
Yeah, it's real. Yeah, it's real. Yeah, it's real. It's real. Yeah, keep it real. Yeah, it's real. It's real. Keep it 100. Keep it 100. Keep it real.
Yeah. Yeah. Momo, this a slapper, my nigga. Yeah. Finna run this shit. Come on. Do it. Niggas, bitches gather round, get your game intact. And if you don't catch it the first time, you can play it back. When I'm done, one of the sickest ones to spit it raw. On my dick so hard, thinking you tryna get me jaw. Back, let me get stacks, proceed to roll sweets. In my face, seem like you the type to speak to police. So you know I can't fuck with your conversation, spit a verse, roll a smoke a blunt with you. Too many big things on my plate, that's why I say my grace. And watch for cats trying to violate. I'ma wait in the cut, we gon' play through them up. He gon' be like, nigga, please. I'ma be like, nigga, what? Step your game up, that's how you get your chippers up. Build them bigger figures up. Yeah, I know this shit is nuts, but we gotta do for bucks. More than just this rapping stuff. Push a hard line until your motherfucking time is up. Come on.
Tryna put this West Coast thing back on the map. Northern Cali's where I'm starting because this where it's at. Tryna put this West Coast thing back on the map. Northern Cali's where I'm starting because this where it's at.
One foul associate, then your crew, then your shit crumbles. We fold stacks and all I wanna do is get bundles. I'm sticking and moving like the great Cassius Clay. I need 8-figure stacks I can cash for pay. It's deep in the rap, most niggas just rap for paper. I'm hot, been on fire since Gazelles and Crow activators. OC's is so easy, we could be one of the greatest. When we through with this rap shit, you're now one of the most underrated. But I'll take it black, flip and make cake with that. Be dreaming about paper stacks, waking up still broke. On Sonoma steel pole, make you wanna cock back, make you wanna kill folks. I be killing ill beats, rolling up swisher sweets. Call me Osai, call me Mr. Money off the streets. None can compete, coming phony a week. And the purple sticky shit be the only I cheat. We
tryna put this West Coast thing back on the map. Northern Cali's where I'm starting because this where it's at. Tryna put this West Coast thing back on the map. Northern Cali's where I'm starting because this where it's at.
Two essentials that I need, water and weed. Get on this motherfucking mic and I just slaughter the beat. Act like there's eggshells on it when you walk on my street. See the sharks all around you like you lost at sea. Yeah, you soft like my sheets, baby. The 500 count. Catch me with a pity in the city getting blunted out. But be like a semi when I'm in him, I just gun it out. Used to give a shit, I guess I just be like, fuck it now. Ducking down from buckshots. See him flying through the hood, ricocheting off the bus stops. If you made it through that shit, I give you much props. It ain't no time or patience for you blood clots. Like kind on that beat, got enough knocks. A money day stay doper than a tough rock. It's all synchronized, the energy and love's locked. And you can call yourself a fool, you think that must stop.
You know what they say, two company but three can play. Fuck up the beat, the show and the stage. Little hype because we from the Bay. You know what they say, two company but three can play. Fuck up the beat, the show and the stage. Still hype because we from the Bay. Never will I let them see me, no, I just might let them see me. Put my black ass on the TV, but don't pee me, that's play. Like my CD, press tape, turn me up, gas break, babe. Always wanna call me that, but I'm like, hey, the area where I be at, music is the only track where you see me stroke my ass when I got cake. Act a father-fucking fool when I'm in the rules. Blending family jewels with the womb, write the real, word the rhyme, take the time to take it there. Clear the air and make you mine, my music, your Valentine. At the time, thinking rhyme, dream, I'm bilingual. Both sides that Bay Bridge, no soul, pay my people, my mind. Unconventional in my rhymes, carving out this place called home behind my eyes. Seen one too many scenes that have me close them tight, so I hold my vision high and I fight grip that mic. You know what they say, two company but three can play. Fuck up the beat, the show, and the stage. Little high beat cause we from the Bay. You know what they say, two company but three can play. Fuck up the beat, the show, and the stage. Little high beat cause we from the Bay.
Energy made this one.
Bigs, man. GB shit. Bitch. What you do? I said, big booty bitch walk in the club, booty stank. Yeah, the dick back there, but the cootie stank. Cause how my nigga need a new frame. Up the 3 and pop the perk, I'm feeling like 26 with a 50, that's my little baby. Yeah, she kinda crazy. I know, yeah, she kinda crazy. Fuck it, yeah, she kinda shady. That's my little baby. Okay. Tips, hollow points, if it's on the past. Fold, fuck around and get your shit. Roll with the past, take a big drop. Bitch keep looking, she go fuck around and get sand. Hold on, I think I got it. Bitch keep looking, she go fuck around and get sand. Send her ass to the doctor, man. Make her back up so we hit bands. Bands. I need it. Okay. Down on him. Down on him. Down on the bitch. Down on the bitch.
Hey. When they say no, I go. When they say no, I go. When they say no, I go. Nothing in my way, headed to the door.
When they say no, I go. When they say no, I go. When they say no, I go. Nothing in my way, heading to the door.
When they say no, I go.
When they say no, I go.
When they say no, I go.
Nothing in my way, heading to the door. Looking like the life of the party. I got what you need to get you started. Play the backfield, now I'm coming up. You have first place, now you runner-up. All black, tell it like a mobster. Rockin' red body, wishing with the pasta. What the man forecasting, he drippin'. And we only conversate about the winning. Top floor, yeah, you know we going up. Middle finger in the air, we don't give a fuck. Popping champagne like we just won the shit. Always calculated, never shooting from the hip. Tell me where to go, I show them that I make it go. I got crazy girls around me going up and down the phone. Make it rain on them big bread, get it from my mama. Count it up, blue strips, don't forget the commas. I go.
When they say no, I go. When they say no, I go. When they say no, I go. Nothing in my way, headed to the door.
When they say no, I go. When they say no, I go. When they say no, I go.
We can know better, do better.
When they say no, I go.
When they say no, I go.
When they say no, I go.
Nothing in my way, heading to the door.
Headed to the door, and it's looking lovely. Running to the bank, I'm never sorry. I do this shit, no games, no lames. 100 miles an hour to the money, fuck the fame. Hey, rookie of the year, how I'm coming. Stunting so heavily, why they flying? Damn, easy 500s on my feet now. I remember I was broke, not a cash cow. Me and the bread, we get along. Comments after comments in my account, going strong. Securing the bag in every way possible. Working, sticking to the play, no audible. They wanted me to fall, but I just ball. They wanna call the shots, I just fall. But I'm the coach, drawing my own plays, executing to the max, on my own pace. When they say no, I go. When they say no, I go. When they say no, I go. Nothing in my way, headed to the door.
When they say no, I go. When they say no, I go. When they say no, I go. Nothing in my way, heading to the door.
When they say no, I go.
When they say no, I go.
When they say no, I go.
Nothing in my way, heading to the door.
See, the thing is, you just can't think about it. You just gotta let go and trust in yourself. Cause you good. Here we go now, 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 so let's go. All you gotta do is jump, don't be scared, just jump. Ready, set, jump, jump, yeah, jump, jump. All you gotta do is jump, yeah, take a leap and trust that you'll land on your feet. All you gotta do is jump, tell them snakes goodbye. I'ma teach you how to fly, all you gotta do is jump. Skydiving in a hurricane, left my parachute like I never heard of pain. Hit my bullseye with perfect aim, now why I'm killing them softly like when Roberta sang. Yeah, you could do the same. You could choose the fame, but don't confuse the game. You could paint a picture, then you can choose the frame. You can leave your mark, can they remove the stain? Don't worry about them other guys, otherwise you'll scare away the butterflies. Yeah, the only thing on your mind should be the look in your mother's eyes if your brother dies. Yeah, so throw caution to the wind. If you can't, then you're your own obstacle again. If you don't hold your breath, is it possible to swim? It's all psychological, my friend. All you gotta do is jump. Don't be scared, just jump. Ready, set, jump, jump, yeah, jump, jump. All you gotta do is jump, yeah, take a leap and trust that you'll land on your feet. All you gotta do is jump, tell them snakes goodbye. I'm gone, I'ma teach you how to fly. All you gotta do is jump. Come on, take a chance. It's not that scary. Come on, take a glance. The ones stuck on the ground can't advance. The ones flying around you, they enhance. Yeah, you gotta spread those wings. Hold on too tight or you gon' shred those dreams. People have crash landed, I've read those things. Fears run your life, let's behead those kings. Yeah, it's simple, just mimic a damn plane. And let the music be a guide, not your damn brain. What a damn shame, cats that can't hang. Don't understand it, end up crashing in the fast lane. In that lane, we were born to fly. And if we don't, then we're sworn to die. So just let go, baby, and then close your eyes so we can transform the sky. All you gotta do is jump. Don't be scared, just jump. Ready, set, jump, jump, yeah, jump, jump. All you gotta do is jump, yeah, take a leap and trust that you'll land on your feet. All you gotta do is jump, tell them snakes goodbye. I'ma teach you how to fly. All you gotta do is jump.
Let's go. He don't even know me yet, but he really tryna see what's next. You a out of town nigga, you just wanna see me flex. Don't know who I were, no guess. Oh yes, that's Gucci, Louis, Prada. He gon' spend a couple dollars. Need some lipstick on his collar, cause the fuckboys tryna holler. We get on like a light, different city every night. If I want it, then he swipe. And remind me, keep it tight. Spin a check on me, ain't nothing changed. Didn't give him bread, he did all the above. He gon' make it rain, groupies go insane. All the money in the world can't buy my love. Baby, I can tell that you want it. You really can't buy my love. Blowing all your money, that's because you really can't buy my love. Paper ain't gon' catch you when you falling. You really can't buy my love. Money ain't gon' help you buy my love. He don't even know me yet. All he wanna do is flex, and he just wanna see what's next. Baby boy be blowing checks. Oh yes, flex, flex, blowing checks. Flex, flex, blowing checks. He sold his soul and bought me a range and a new ass. I'm so vain. Spit the check on the kitty, then the new one came. Funny what we do for the fame. What a shame, yeah, you cute as hell with a couple mil. Lose all that shit, see who really down. Say he wanna keep me around. Treat me like it's fortune, I'm the best thing he found. He buy it, then I stank. I get everything I want. But hosts tell me I'm a cunt, cause I rock it and I flank. My bank account got a few zeros. He think he a hero, I give no fucks. Won't commit till he's with the shit. All the money in the world can't buy my love. Baby, I can tell that you boring. You really can't buy my love. Throwing all your money just because. You really can't buy my love. Paper ain't gon' catch you when you falling. You really can't buy my love. Money ain't gon' help you buy my love. You really don't. He don't even know me yet. All he wanna do is flex. And he just wanna see what's next. Baby boy be blowing checks. Oh yes. Flex. Flex. Blowing checks. Flex. Flex. Blowing checks. Checks.
I've been known for playing, but there ain't no playing with you. No passwords on cell phones when I put myself alone with you. Yeah, feeling far too strong to put you on pause for a minute. My heart's crying for us, girl. I'm yours if you with it. Baby, with it. Tell me if you with it.
Baby, I get lost in you like I get lost in music. Your mood and your set of melodies seduce me like beats. The vocals completes my focus. That's why I got so many different styles to stroke you. We can take two, we can take three. I can take you, then you can take me. We can take multiple days off a week and treat each one like the last we'll ever see. Cause
I'm not gonna rush it, cause it's so worth taking our time. Our time. Take a tour of your world, then you're taking a tour of mine. Put your guard down, easing your arms down me for a minute. Let your thoughts for each, put our minds at ease if we're with it.
Tell me if you with it, please.
visions of you moving around in freeze frame, make it awfully hard to keep sane. We don't have no reason to refrain. I'm close to remain, close for me, babe. Give me a free chance to score like PKs. Euphoria feel as we may do something special up your skirt, believe me. You can use the button-up shirt for PJ.
Now that I've had a hit of you,
and you've had a hit of me,
my heart keeps pulling me so close to you.
I'm falling officially. Baby, I ain't even gotta go nowhere. I have everything you need.
If everything goes the way it can, then girl, you can be Mrs. Me.
I'm feeling sky so strong. We done went more far than a minute. We done made it this long. We gon' take this fun to the limit.
We are everything I thought we'd be. We made it's every eye we've seen. Get back is a big cigar. You say everything that's mine is ours. Rain styles of life together. Embark on the journey of life together. I'm sure any storm we can right the weather. Got a bond so strong that over time it's better.
We are one and the same. We made this life together. Watch us blossom forever, no stopping us now. Numbers and things, places out of you range. I'm sure you'd have the time of your life, baby. Cognac, J.A. Young Well, Skins, Ron Drell, go up. Keep it on the quiet, keep it on the DL. Gotta keep it private, not the type to kiss and tell. Learn early, keep a muzzle till I end up in a cell. But just know I see a jail before I speak on my personnel. All of them may be newsy, concerned about what I'm doing. They see I be in the kitchen and wonder what I've been stewing. I give you my secrets the way I'm viewing. Now we colluding, so keep it with me and you, and we'll make sure there's no confusion. This the way we go, problems you don't want those. I'm moving in silence as if I'm walking on 10 toes. So keep it on the low, cause nobody needs to know. Just keep it on the hush. You ain't gotta say nothing. Keep it on the hush. You ain't gotta tell them. You don't want a problem. The money won't solve it. Keep it on the hush. You don't wanna make a fuss. So just keep it to yourself and don't tell nobody. Well, nothing to discuss. So let's keep it between us. Keep it on the hush. I call her Victoria, she can keep it secret. She try on lingerie, I can't wait to peep it. Lights, camera, action, quiet on the set. She play the leading role, clapboard vet. Mom be the word to the alphabets. If you want it, gotta give it, talking about respect. Do my biz in the background, close curtains. First race at the fairgrounds, how I'm skirting. And I ain't got time to be falling off. Keep it in the fan, we can all ball. That's the priority, we splitting the majority. Yellow tape, she was talking to authorities. You ain't gotta say nothing. Keep it on the hush. You ain't gotta tell them. You don't want a problem. The money won't solve it. Keep it on the hush. You don't wanna make a fuss. So just keep it to yourself and don't tell nobody else. No one else can discuss. So just keep it to the hush. Keep it on the hush.
If she fuck with me, she gotta keep it on the low. When she with me, no one else gotta know. She stays on her knees cause daddy needs some more. Then I hit it from the back, all I do is go. I'm a baller, I be playing. He's a stalker, always hand. Keep it to yourself, you can do better. Wake up every morning with some new cheddar.
You ain't gotta say nothing. Keep it on the hush. You ain't gotta tell them. You don't want a problem. The money won't solve it. Keep it on the hush. You don't wanna make a fuss. So just keep it to yourself and don't tell nobody else. No one else to discuss. So let's keep it between us. Keep it on the hush. Keep it on the hush.
Perfect. Yeah. 27 inch. Fatty. Yeah. If I shine, then my people too. Once you get on, that's what you're supposed to do. I'm on my low big meat. If it ain't about this, don't speak. If I shine, then my people too. Once you get on, that's what you're supposed to do. I'm on my low big meat. If it ain't about this, don't speak. Yeah. Always on the road. I'm in the league. No time for the blase. I got mouths to feed. Read between the lines. You'll find this guy serious. Now you tapped in, and I got you a little curious. Here it is. Live and direct. No fugazi. Louis V around my neck. Get the footwork. Turn that respect. First shit, get the money. Shit, y'all know the rest. It's in the eye of the beholder. Nobody want to kick in. Put the whole thing on my shoulder. Road, I'm a rider. Started at the bottom, now we on fire. If I shine, then my people too. Once you get on, that's what you're supposed to do. I'm on my low big meat. If it ain't about this, don't speak. If I shine, then my people too. Once you get on, that's what you're supposed to do. I'm on my low big meat. If it ain't about this, don't speak. Yeah.
Big dog that's like Holton. Feed the whole fam like big meat. Put in leg work, now we run the streets. If it ain't about business, nigga, don't speak. Put the play in motion, rolling like a locomotive. Made a living, turning nickels into dimes on the boat. Bullshit, move like over in the O with the block. How these bitches love something. Like bitches in position. Base subtract to zero if you make a good addition. Never take the bait, but the fans still fishing. Backing in magician to these niggas, they be tricking. Pass, let's travel till they block it off. Never did it this big, nigga, knock it off. Ran through the whole team, told them walk it off. Honcho, call shots, what you talking about? Come on, nigga. Got the right one, I'm the wrong little nigga. I got a big stack, my reach long, little nigga. Try me, you won't make it home, little nigga. When I shine, they shine, we shine together. Lay the foundation so we shine forever. Press on the button, it's heating, it's leather inside of the foreign foot pushing the pedal. I'm paving the way to get out of the ghetto. Michael Archangel, I fight with the devil. Digging this grave, heaven gave me the shovel. He think that I'm weak, had to turn up a level. I'll never be beat, I'm a king in these streets. I relax like a Mac having sex on the beach. Never surrender, never retreat. People to feed and they all gotta eat, free to God.
Camping outside from 5 to 5, cents on the ride, code 45, I'm plotting. I know where you wait, I know where you work, some holy shit, I know where you clock in. Dressed in all black, stocking cap on my lap, I'm strapped. Hatch is plain, cause all they give a nigga straps up for half the fact that we don't wanna be in C, don't match. Got rope, got tape, so soap, mic tape, the whole thing. Whole tank, a propane, just in case my DNA on the scene make it blow up. A nigga about to plunge, I guess, I had to let the fear digest. Now you about to feel my stress. Once I press the sound lock, no stop, yeah, here's my best. Creeping through your window, my end goal is simple. Hit go, get gone. I'm hoping that it ain't nobody home. When you get a later home, you gon' look around and wonder like, too late, they been raid. It's payday and you paid. Get brave, get sprayed. That's how you get a grave or a pack on your hip where you should stay. Lead no name like, gotta get a nigga enemies. Even if it means everybody enemies. You should've changed up your tendencies. Now you ran to some vinities. Tie you up, think you finna leave. Nope, nope, nobody. Sympathy, don't got it. Your wallet, my wallet. When you pray, whole body. Come coming, don't got it, that's why.
All right, everybody, I think it's that time. We can know better, do better. Treka, you in the house?
I am here. I'm here.
Go, there we go. Boom.
What's going on? What's going on? That was a dope track. Well, that was a dope set. I was kind of over here gigging a little bit too much. I was like, oh shit, I need to get on the camera. What's going on, Ro?
Going down.
Is it still storming out there?
No, actually, it cleared up. It cleared up a little bit later. It's cold, but it's supposed to come back tomorrow. So sometime tomorrow. So
Didn't rain here today, so I'm thankful. But it was cold. It was definitely chilly willy. Chilly willy. Well, I know our guests. Do we have anybody in the house already?
Yeah, I'm on. Can you hear me?
yeah, we got a few people in the house.
Okay, I need to change my focus because I'm not focused. Everybody here except the hostess. Ain't this a bitch? As always, what's up, ladies first? What's up, Shan-T?
What's going down like Bobby Brown in the town? and for my people, I like to give my little greeting. I say shalom, shalom, mishpacha v'haverim. That means peace and wellness to family and friends. You know.
I say.
What's happening?
You know, chilling like a villain. Rio, what's going on with you, bro?
Hey, I'm tapping in, just here. What's going down?
You know, just living the dream. Welcome both of you guys to our viewers. This is Treka's Know Better, Do Better. Today's special guest, we have Miss Shan-T, who's going to drop a couple gems on us. I already know, I can feel it in my bones. And then we got my boy Rio. We go way back, like similar. He's got some gems for us as well that I'm sure we can pick his brain upon. First off, I like to start off with, asking everybody, how you feeling today? How are you feeling? I know a lot of people don't ask that and really want to know. Shan-T, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling really good. I'm fresh out the salon. You know what I'm saying? My hair is right. You know what I'm saying? I got my drink. You know, my libations, what they call it, huh? You know.
Anything with a red cup involved, I'm in there.
Right. The dogs is happy. I'm on your show. You know what I mean? I'm following my girl Treka podcast. Meeting some new people. Mario, Roselle, you know, what's happening? I'm good. I'm good.
Appreciate you. Rio, how's your day?
It's good. I'm good. I'm just tapping in. I got me some orange juice and some tea. I'm taking a slow motion.
You know, you being real conservative, you know.
I gotta get up in the morning.
Right. I mean, I almost canceled the show my damn self. I'm like, I got a job now. Like, damn. Roselle, how about you? How was your day, sir?
It was good, long. It's not finished yet, but it's getting there. I got a long day.
Roselle is what I like to call American Jamaican. He got like 15 job, man. He do like 13 podcasts in a week. So
Lord of mercy.
Always a pleasure. DJ throws on the music. Most of the music that y'all heard, by the way, is a lot of local talent here in San Diego, Bay Area, a little bit in the LA area. We try to keep it a little low independent because copyrights and all that, but especially because we want to give that exposure to people who won't necessarily get it anywhere else. And it doesn't matter how many views I get, one is enough. So if you got music, I'm always down to take it. You know somebody that got some music, y'all? Tap in on me, send it to me, link up me. I'm always down to play it. I be in here grooving anyway, so it's always good. As for me, I am feeling amazing. I, finishing up my first work week in a couple months, and I really haven't did much of anything. I'll be quite honest with you. But it feels good to be in a position where I feel like I'm back on track again. And that definitely is important, especially around this time of year. You know, holiday season kind of gets me in all kinds of different moods and things. So, which I think this is our holiday show. I didn't realize Christmas is a Saturday. Are y'all ready for Christmas? I know some of us don't really celebrate Christmas, but for those who do, are you ready for Christmas?
Yeah, I'm
Roselle, Mario.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Mario, your kids still really big on Christmas?
I think everybody's big on getting gifts.
Okay, there you go. That's a perfect segue to what we was talking about the other day. See, I had made this post on Facebook about people lying to their kids about Santa Claus, and it ruffled some feathers. So as a parent, I'm gonna ask you first, because none of us have kids. So as a parent, when your kids were young, did you teach them the sense of Santa Claus? Mario?
I did, yeah. I just think it's fun. And then they got to a certain age and then they knew there was no Santa. But it's fun. I think it's fun. Just like people do the elf on the shelf and all the other stuff. I think that stuff is all fun.
Okay. How old were your kids when they found out?
Oh, man, probably like 7 or 6 or something. Young.
And how did they find out?
Oh, my daughter, I think she found out and then she told my son when he got to be like 7.
Yeah. Well, people were kind of upset with me. I wasn't saying that don't celebrate the joy of Christmas, but I just think it creates a dilemma for me. I don't think that I'm gonna, if I have children, I don't think I'm ever gonna teach them anything about Santa Claus. I don't know why, but the idea of me, I was kind of pissed when I found out Santa Claus wasn't real, but I found out really young, and I found out because I caught my mom and parents sneaking shit in the house. You know what I'm saying? It was like, damn, y'all been lying to me to my face all this time, and I kind of felt deceived. But I think what made me bring this up is as many may know, I am in therapy, and I started to dig deep about what I really thought Christmas meant. And I think a lot of people don't celebrate it for what it's really meant for. Like you said, everybody loves getting gifts. But what if you can't afford those gifts? Or, what if your kids are, one of those kids who don't get gifts? So it's like, I was one of those kids who didn't get gifts sometimes. Shit, Christmas didn't come until tax season. And that's just how it went. But I do remember it creating this kind of like resentment and anger in me at a young age. And I just wanted to see like, okay, well, did anybody else feel this way when they came up and when they figured it out or what? So, I mean, it was just a random thought. But Shan-T, I know me and you kind of tapped in about it. And what was your stance on that?
I did feel some resentment when I did find out who Santa Claus actually was, because I was one of those straight A students. I definitely believe the story, and I was a straight A student, therefore was told that Santa Claus was going to bring me my reward, my just reward. And pretty much I believed that I deserved it because I didn't ask for anything anytime else, because I was just that type of child. However, I seen my mom bust her butt, and she was giving credit to someone else. And she would say, when I didn't get what I wanted, she would say, "Why you being so ungrateful?" I'm like, man, you told me that if I was a good girl, I could get what I want. What is laying here is not what I want.
Right. That's what you can afford.
But I didn't know, because you're told you be a good person or a child, you're going to get what you want, not what can be afforded. Okay, that's not what you're told. So I definitely did feel some resentment, and I felt I was pissed at my mom, definitely, because how you gonna tell me I'm being ungrateful when I did everything that I was supposed to do? I don't usually ask for much, and this time I don't get what I want. One thing, usually I just wanted one thing at times. You know what I mean? One thing. And it wasn't no big game console. It was like the first a beat machine. I got the beat machine one year, but it's like I had to fight. I had to fight just to get one thing. And so when I found out, it was my mom, I was like, why are you up here busting your butt to give credit to somebody else for all the hard work you've done, and you could barely afford these things? You up here like what obligates you to do that? And that's when I had the question, like, what obligates people to want to do this? And we still got homeless children. I know there's toy drives and everything like that, but I'm like, so I understand the escapism it provides. People say kids can only have an imagination through this. However, I think we're limiting the ability of kids' imagination, saying if they don't have this, they won't have an imagination or whatever, whatnot. So that's my spiel for right now. I got to talk to your boy real quick, Treka. He over here.
What up, D? No, I mean, I think a lot of the resentment too was like, I would see how stressed out my mom would get when she got a divorce and she had to try to do it for 3 kids. And in return, I think she would turn that anger against us. And it was like, dang, I didn't know you was mad at us for you hustling to go get toys. And it's like, it's just, once you unravel it as an adult, it's kind of like, okay, a lot of displaced anger, but I also felt like that was the only way that my mom thought that she felt like she could show love. And I feel like that's a big issue, because you should show, I feel like they put so much time and energy and effort and stress into this one day and try to get you as much stuff as they can. And it's like, okay, can't you see how much stuff you got? Don't you see how much I love you? It's like, no, that stuff don't mean love. Love means love.
So I think, like, to your point, I think Christmas is whatever you create it to be when you're a parent. And I think
Right.
that's what we get lost on. So it doesn't have to be getting a bunch of stuff. Like, I do give out gifts for Christmas, but this year, like my son said, he didn't want anything for Christmas. He just wants to be with his family. So I think somebody told me something one time that I really liked. They said, you take the word CONTENT, right? And if you see that as content, then you're always trying to fill your life with more content, with more stuff. You'll never be happy. But if you see it as content, then you can be content with what you have and cherish the things that you have. And I think a lot of times as parents, we want to give and show and do this stuff for our kids, but it doesn't have to be that way. And Christmas is basically whatever you have it be in your house. So if your mom felt like she had to buy you guys stuff to show that she was, you know, she might have felt like that's the way of her showing that she was successful. It's like, I got you guys some stuff on Christmas. I did it, you know, and it may make some resentment, but she might have been doing it more so for her than for you guys. And so I think as parents, it's really important to really figure out what message we're trying to convey in our households and what we want Christmas to celebrate. So it doesn't have to be the traditional Santa Claus thing. We do Santa Claus, but I just like the feeling of going to sleep. And I remember I used to have anxiety waking up in the morning and trying to see.
Yeah, I couldn't sleep.
Yeah.
Wake up at 5:15. Is he here yet? Shit.
So I remember doing that and just what it brings around, but it was really more so being around your family. You know what I mean? The gifts are cool, but it's a lot of, you know, I think whatever your family makes that tradition be. And so I think that's the biggest thing is what do you want it to signify in your house? And I think a lot of in my house, it's about being around family and love, and people get gifts, but it's not really about the gifts. It's more so about us celebrating each other.
Right. I think the conflict in my family came about too, and this is just my own family's, you know, issues that we're dealing with, but it became too much about the gifts and not about the love and the being around family. And I think the older we got, the more it was more focused on the gift giving. Like, well, you need to give me a gift because I got you a gift. And it's like, whoa, that's not how gifts work. Gifts are given freely. Like they're given out of love, out of, you know, I want to gift this to you, not because I owe you a gift. And I don't think that we ever created that the real, what I consider the real meaning of celebrating Christmas or holidays when I was younger. And I definitely know that I see the effects of it now that I'm an adult. So it's like those are certain things that I'm like, I'm not gonna do if I have kids.
Well, I think that goes even to like birthday parties now. I mean, you look at like 1-year-old birthday parties and people, I had this lady, she was coming into my job. She bought a party planner and she was basically giving the party planner thousands of dollars for a 1-year-old's birthday. The 1-year-old can't even do nothing, walk or nothing.
I don't remember it.
But it was just to show everybody, like, I could do this. I'm gonna have these ponies, I'm gonna have this, I'm gonna have a train coming through, I'm gonna get this big cake, I'm gonna get caterers. And even with the weddings, if you think about the wedding ceremonies now, you pay 20, 30,000, 40,000 for this party for everybody else. I mean, all you really care about is getting married, but it has to be this big thing because you have to show everybody that you have money. And I think that's one of the things in our culture that's really tough is people are always trying to impress people with money they don't have, you know?
Living way above their means, way above their means. And then I think that has, and the reason why it also came up, because I think that also contributes to mental stress and our mental health in the Black community, especially because everybody's always trying to keep up with the Joneses and all of us are living below Jones line. So that stress to have what the next person have or have more instead of just being content, like you said, being content and appreciative for what you have and what you can afford and living in that life. Because if you can't live in that life right now, then it's definitely going to be an issue down the line. It's going to keep coming up.
Well, I don't know if you ever tripped on it or not, but it's basically the way we live our life now in the worst kind of trip because we inherited a planet that had everything that we needed to live off of it and sustain our life, and everything was free. and we created a monetary system based on, now it's based on dollars that aren't even backed by anything. It's just backed on the principle that we believe that these dollars are worth something. And in a world where everything is basically free.
Oh, awesome. Did he go out? Or did I go?
I think he went out.
Okay. Can't hear you. Dang, I don't know how to even chat him. Mario, can you hear us?
Yeah, could you not hear me?
No, you went out. You went out at the end there.
Oh, I was just basically saying it's trippy that we created a world where everything was free and initially, where now people can't even afford to eat or live when everything basically grows for free. And we were given, a place where you didn't need money. You just basically could eat and create shelter and live without anything. And we based it on a monetary system that's not even backed by anything. The dollar used to be based on the gold.
It doesn't mean anything. I could rip up a piece of toilet paper right now and go outside. Like, this toilet paper is worth $5,000. Trust me, believe me. If I got enough people to trust and believe me, it'd become the next Bitcoin. So like, I think that's so crazy. Like how everything is built off of an ideal that people or thought that people followed. It's not, like you said, we were put on this earth and everything was abundance. Everything is still abundance. The only thing that's wrecked the abundance is us humans running around here doing all this extra stuff, which is why this weather is crazy right now. Mother Earth is pissed off and she will come for the heads. So, I mean, I just think that we need to stop certain things or change certain things that we do into ways and modernize them, because we can't keep doing things the same way people was doing it 50, 100 years ago. We're going to keep getting the same result, the same perpetual stuff, the same, little kids that walk around here. You ain't got no job, but you feel entitled to brand new J's every month. Like, I'm trying to understand where that comes in, but down the line, that's going to create an issue. Either he better learn how to hustle, or you're going to learn how to steal. So it's crazy. Shan-T, feel free to jump in here anyway. Roselle, how's your Christmas? Roselle's an only child, so I would love to, like, how were your Christmases? You got everything, huh?
Oh yeah, my Christmas was cool. But you know what? I gave it back because my parents expect the same thing back. So I have to make sure I hook them up. So I usually hook them up. I don't mind it. I mean, I like Christmas. It's cool with me.
How was it when you was a kid, though?
Oh, it was cool. I mean, it was cool. I pretty much, I mostly got what I wanted most of the time.
Did you believe in Santa?
I did for a little bit, but after a while, I knew there was no Santa. I done seen the presents in the closet, so I knew what my parents were saying.
We can barely hear you, Roselle.
Oh yeah, I said I knew it was. I saw the presents in the closet one time.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I seen them, and I knew my parents were getting it. I knew where they were coming from.
I didn't even tell them I knew for a couple of years. I just kept it a secret and just went on scavenger hunts every year and found everything before Christmas every year. Knew what it was, but that's what happens when you ruin that magic.
I was more hurt when I found out wrestling was fake.
Oh what, man? That killed me, dude. I stopped wrestling instantly. That was like it.
Yeah. Once I found out the WWF wasn't real, I never watched wrestling again. I never just walked away. Turkey.
Yep. Hey, I stopped watching it before it became WWE.
Oh, me too. I was back when Hulk Hogan Junkyard Dog. Man, when I found out it was fake, man, I used to go to the Cow Palace in San Francisco to go watch it. And I remember one time we were there and there was somebody in the Cow Palace smoking crack like a few rows behind us. Because, you know, we way up in the nose. And we were sitting there watching it. Yeah. It was crazy.
Shan-T, what, did you grow up believing in Santa?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
How old were you when you lost that belief?
Like Roselle said, find the stuff in the closet. So I mean, you know, you find the stuff in the closet, but then stuff start adding up year after year. For me, I'm not getting what I want. You know what I mean? Like that really bothered me. It really bothered me because I worked my tail off to be good to get what I want. What I wanted. You know, like you're told that's the one time you have to look forward to getting something. But yeah,
right, because this white man this chunky white man gonna come here and bring everything you wanted because you was good all year.
Yeah. But I'm different from everybody here, I think. Because like well, you see the stuff in the back, you know, people kind of know what that is. Some don't, some do. But I celebrated my last Christmas 2012, and I made a conscious choice not to celebrate it anymore. I was the first, and my husband followed. The people say, "Hey, are you not celebrating because you don't have any children?" I said, "No, that's not the case.
Right.
If I did have children, I wouldn't celebrate it. However, what we do is find ourselves seeing who does gift you throughout the year, and so I see that for people who used to give me gifts on Christmas, since I don't celebrate it no more, guess what I don't get any time of year? Gifts.
Yes.
And so what me and my husband do, as you recently saw, like I think this was funny. I gift him all year. He gifts me all year. You see it.
Yeah, y'all been gifting and shit since I don't know when. I was like, these motherfuckers just gifting away.
Because that's real love, and we see like so. I mean, just to say, like you know, like Mario said, you know, the gifts is fun, and you can make it what you want. However, can you make it what you want, or is there a standard? Because if there's a standard to what Christmas is supposed to be, why isn't everybody on the standard? They say, oh, it's about this, oh, it's about that, it's about family, it's about gift, it's about coming together, it's about fellowship, it's about, you know what I'm saying, the kids. What is it about? Because one person say, well, this is over here, this is over there. And then, you know, me growing up in church, I left the church at age 32. We were told that it's Jesus's birthday. You know what I'm saying? Now, I went to church every Sunday, didn't read the Bible though, until I was 32. Till I was 32 years old. And there is no date in the Bible of when Jesus was born. So a lot of other people celebrate Christmas is Jesus's birthday. And then, you know, you get the religious world to say, hey, why are atheists celebrating Christmas? You know, so it's like, what is the standard? You know what I mean? Because if you can make it what you want, then you could just do anything you want and there's no standard, right? But if there's a standard, how can you say, well, why aren't you celebrating it for this? Why aren't you celebrating it for that? And I'll tell you this before I end it. When I stopped celebrating Christmas, I definitely got shunned by my family because they thought I didn't, you know, fellowship anymore, hang around or love them. I was like, well, there's 363, 4 other days of the year. I'm down for doing that. I'm down for getting together with family at least once a week. I'm talking about, you know how we kick it, Treka. I'm talking about let's do that once a week.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? At least once a week. Now, some people say, oh, that's Sunday dinner. I'm like, nah, let's get it popping like we do at Christmas time. Why can't we take that time and use it for something else? People are like, well, we ain't off work. Well, you got some time off work you can take. Why can't you just take a random day off? You know what I'm saying? And let's do it big like that. Let's fellowship. Let's get the food. Let's get the games popping. Let's get the desserts popping. Let's get some gifts popping. Why can't we come up with our own traditions and say, hey, once a month, let's give gifts to the one we love. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, you know, if my thing is you pick one. Is it you can make it what you want, or okay, is it you make it what you want, or is it this the standard? You know, this is what you're supposed to be doing for Christmas. But I definitely love to get together with my family, but I just don't get together with my family on Christmas. Now, do I not love my family because of that? Absolutely not. I absolutely love my family, the bottom of my heart. I just look at I'm convicted because of, you know, the original reasons we come up with it. You know what I'm saying? I was like, okay, I have to make a conscious choice because of like, is it a standard, or is it you do what you want to do? You know, but that's what I'll say until it's my time again to get my spiel.
I think, yeah, and you jump in whenever you want to. It's open discussion. I think the standard is set by society. Everything go on sale around Christmas time, right? That's when they have, and then Black Fridays and all that shit. So they kind of guide the herd a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But and for me, I experienced the bad and the good of Christmas. You know, when I was younger, my mom was married. You know, we lived in a good middle class neighborhood. You know, we was getting all the toys. You know, we still believed in Santa Claus and all that shit. Oh, when she got divorced and we had to move our asses to California from Arkansas, there was no Christmases for a while. We was on welfare. You know what I'm saying? And so then you go from not getting shit on Christmas. And that's when we found out Christmas, you know, that's when we found out that Santa ain't real. Mama Santa. So I feel like like you said, it's what you make of it. Like I stopped giving gifts and started making gifts a couple years ago when I lost my job. I was like, here, I'll make these fucking gift coupon books. You can cash in as washing dishes for a day. You know what I'm saying? But I had to make it what it was. But now I'm just like, I'm not giving gifts. Like I give gifts throughout the year, randomly, not even on birthdays. Like and I don't expect to get anything. So when I do get something, I'm very grateful, of course, and appreciate it. But I also don't feel obligated to have to give anybody a gift back anymore, which was something that used to stress me out. Because like, you know, I've never had it like that where I'm like, I could just give everybody a gift, you know? Like, if I was lucky, I could give my mama something.
But see, this is where I think it's messed up, is because I think that it is what you make of it. But I think a lot of people just aren't strong enough to kind of do that and kind of up this. And so in my house, you know, I can afford whatever I want to buy for myself. So I don't need a gift from anybody. So in my house, I celebrate the pictures that my kids make, or the drawings, or make me a ceramic mug. My wife can plan a hike or a picnic or just an activity for us to do. And for me, that means a lot more than a gift. And so it's all about the experiences. And so I'm big on the experiences. So in my house, it's really about the experiences. So I give the kids gifts, right? Like my son, like I said, he just said he didn't want anything. He just wants to be with his family. My daughter, not really big on receiving material things because I don't really trip off of material things. When they were younger, I used to like to give them toys and stuff because it was just exciting to see them be excited.
Right.
And some of my backstory, you know, Treka, my backstory is, you know, my dad was on drugs. I grew up in East Oakland. So when I got in the position I'm in now, I want my kids to be able to have the experiences. But then, like you say, it's based on society's standard, right? So when I got money, I wanted to do what I could do because I couldn't do it. But I learned that what I wanted to do is I really wanted to have these shared experiences, because at the end of the day, the money's going to go away and all my kids are going to have, or my wife is going to have, is these experiences that we had together as a family. And so that's really big to me. And then when you talk about Christmas, Santa Claus was created pretty much in 1931. That's when the red suit came from Coca-Cola. So it's all a marketing scheme. Just like a lot of people don't know, when you pledge allegiance to the flag, they had a company that was actually selling flags, and they created the Pledge of Allegiance so they could sell more flags during that time. So a lot of the stuff that we've created or taken in as culture in America is based on sales or marketing. And so what we have to do is get away from being consumers, because we're just taught to consume stuff endlessly. We just consume, and get into a place where we have our own traditions, which is tough because we're the only culture that came from a place and was denied ties to that place. Like when you think about the Chinese coming here or the Hispanic community coming here, they still have their family back where they're from. We came here from Africa and don't have any roots back in Africa. So we don't have our culture. So everything we have here is created by the group of people that were displaced and trying to get into a culture they didn't belong to and retain whatever culture they could remember from their past. So, I mean, it kind of put us in a unique situation as African Americans in America.
And I think that they shoved that that consumer mindset down our throats so bad that that's all people can see now. Like they don't see past, okay, the real traditions that we're supposed to be holding or creating. Because who says that we can't create another tradition? You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, modify something to be more like ours. Like, I think it's a lot.
Well,
it's an entanglement.
Sorry, I'm gonna take this a whole different way, but if you want to trip off of something, think about segregation. Who really won out when we desegregated? So it may sound weird, but
no, it's very. I kind of am one of them people like I wouldn't cool if we didn't desegregate.
It's just when you think about it, we were segregated. We had black businesses, we had black banks, we had black laundromats, we had black clubs, we had black movie theaters because we couldn't go into the white areas, right? Mm-hmm. So once we desegregated, all of the black people immediately ran out of their neighborhoods and went and spent their money at the Macy's and stuff because now they wanted to show everybody that we were equal, we could do what they did. So we abandoned our own. So when you think about the way that we've kind of lived our life historically, we're always trying to prove that we're equal or that we're the same as everybody else, as opposed to starting and doing our own. I think that's kind of where we're transitioning to nowadays. When you look at black businesses starting or co-ops or people now, there's abundance of people selling hair products, or when you look on Instagram, people are selling all different types of things. So we're starting to realize that we can create our own. But look how long it took for us to get to this point.
And we were so, I mean, and to go back to the segregation, we were so much stronger when we was all just by ourselves. Like we have black banks, we have black everything. And just imagine all that money just circulating in the black community and actually staying there. Man, they knew exactly what they were doing when they did the desegregation.
Well, we're the biggest consumer in America. And that's one of the things for us is when you think about the changes that have happened historically, it's not based on people wanting to be right. When you think about the bus boycotts where we were sitting in the back of the bus, they didn't end that because they wanted to be fair. People boycotted the bus. And so the buses started losing money. We were the majority of the people that rode the buses. So at some point they were like, you know what? I don't care where you sit at, bring that money back to the bus, hop on, sit wherever you want to sit at. And that's what ended the bus boycotts, is because of the money. So I always tell people, when you vote with your dollar. So if you really want to make a change, you need to pool your money together and get that money flowing where you want it to go, and the change will follow. So nothing's ever happened in America because people wanted to be equitable. It's always because the money kind of leads the change. When you look at the Civil War, they were going to lose. So what they have to do, they had to get black soldiers to come fight in the Civil War. It's never about being equitable, fair, or wanting to do what's right by the minority group in America. It's all about what's going to be the best for America economically or socially. Sorry, I work in finance too, so.
Yeah, and I was just about to get to that. I think society has been breadcrumbing us to keep us, you know, coming back for more. We just give you just a little bit, you know, not too much. And then we'll give you something to make you think you won some shit. But really, the winner is us. And I think a lot of people fail to see that, like, even with things that are going on right now. Like, we think we're winning this and we're winning that. Like, oh, yeah, they finally found somebody guilty. Yeah, but did you hear about the other 10 motherfuckers that they didn't find guilty today? That actually ran up on people with rifles and shot them premeditatedly. And
we're the only people that play fair. So when you think about it, when Barack Obama was in office, he didn't want to seem like there was favoritism. He wanted to do everything by the book. He wanted to make sure that he was toeing the line and that he was leading by example. You put Trump in office, he's writing executive orders, he's putting his family in positions, he's pulling his friends in, he's appointing people we're the only people, minorities as a whole, are the only group of people that try to play fair in the system that's created in America. Everybody else does what they have to do. And we're playing to be equal when everybody else is playing to win. And I think that's one of the disadvantages that we have is we're always trying to be equal. We're talking about equality. We're talking about equity, and everybody else is playing to win. They want everything. They want the money. They want the jobs. They want everything. And that's what they're playing for while we're trying to be equitable.
Right.
Can I?
D, you on? Yep.
So,
okay. Welcome in, D. That's
so
Daryl. Torch.
I agree, but this is the caveat I will put to it. We're scared to lose because we have a lot of us who's ready to ride for the winning team. We have a lot of us who's really ready to cause noise for an organized situation where they know that they're not going to lose their job tomorrow.
Right.
So we're ready to ride if we know we're not going to lose our comfortability and the lifestyle that we've gained for ourselves. The problem is we need to have those people who are willing to step forward where win or lose, we know their representation means something. And that's the hard part because what we've all been trained to do is ensure we have a fallback plan. So while some of us want to be activists, a lot of us want to make sure our kids got food to eat in the morning. So it's really hard to separate the two when you know the moment you step out of the shadows, that could be the difference between you feeding your kids or not. So, before we, alienate these people who want to ride like us, but they aren't in the same comfortable position as us because they may have kids or may have situations where they're not allowed to be as free as us. We got to remember what we fighting for. We fighting for those exact people. Those people we went to school with who was almost as close to being free as us, but they just couldn't while we could.
Right.
So that's just my thought process is, versus alienating the people who aren't able to ride like us. Let's gather with the people who are ready to ride and ride because it's more than enough of us willing to stand strong and represent something that's more than just tomorrow's bills being paid.
And I agree with you. I think we also have to get the people who are riding for the wrong causes. I mean, you have a lot of people who are gangbanging, right? And they'll tell you they're going to ride for their set, their street, whatever neighborhood they from. But it's so funny because if you talk to them, it's like, hey, man, you could be president. They'd be like, oh, no, somebody going to kill me. They're going to assassinate you if you're president. So it's so funny because we have people that are willing to ride for the wrong things, too. They're willing to give their life for something that they believe in, but what they're believing in isn't in the direction that kind of aligns with what's going to make everybody free. And I think that's one of the issues that we have. You have a lot of rappers, you have a lot of people that are willing to die for, some credibility versus people that are looking at the bigger picture as a whole. And so you have to get those people. And I think that's what the Black Panthers did really well, or the Nation of Islam. They're able to get the people that kind of fall by the wayside and give them some kind of purpose, educate them, and teach them about themselves. And I think once you learn about yourself, then it changes, your purpose. It's kind of like what you were saying about Christmas earlier. You said you read the Bible when you were 32. Once you read it and you get that truth, whatever that truth may be for you, it kind of gives you another sense of purpose, another direction that you're going to go with your life.
Once you learn some truth, it's hard to go back to the lies. That's one thing I have learned over the past few years. It's like learning certain truths. It's like you can't even go back to try to believe that shit no more.
That's not true for some people. Because like you said, Treka, what's the name of this podcast? Know better and do better. That's not always true. You know why? People do what feels good. Some people don't care about what facts are. Let's just talk about facts. You know what I'm saying? But just because you know better don't mean you always do better. Like children. Yeah, that's why children keep making mistakes and adults keep making mistakes. We know better on some things, but why? Why do we keep doing the same things when we know better? Because they feel good to do. We just try not to get caught. So I mean, some people know certain things and then they make the adjustments. Some people know certain things and be like, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what it means to me. So the whole thing is there's a certain standard of what we deem okay here in America, but other than that, that's what it means. This is what it means to me. You know what I'm saying? So just because you know better, don't mean you're gonna do better. That's not the case for everybody. Like,
and I think sometimes.
Well,
go
no,
ahead.
I don't. That's not what the phrase really stands for. Like, it don't mean just because you know better, you do better. But it's saying, hopefully, once you start knowing better, you can start to begin to do better, and eventually you'll be better. Ain't nobody.
And I'm saying to you to that effect. You you hope somebody starts to think to want to do better, but that the key word hope, that don't mean that people are going to do better. People do what they want. People do what they want to do regardless, because they have made up in their mind that they're gonna be like Devin or Dude. I mean, that's the precedence that's set here for America.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Do as you will. Just don't murder somebody. Don't steal. That's the standard. Don't murder, don't steal, and be a good person, sort of, quote unquote. Other than that, everybody like, okay, do what you want.
And with me, my saying goes for me, because it came with my growth. The more I knew, the more I grew, the more I started to do better for myself. No, it's not going to apply for a majority of any percentage of any type of person. It's too many different perspectives in this world. But I do feel like there are a good amount of people who do learn from their past, or they learn from their experiences, and they do make better decisions in the future. That's how you grow. So that's
I think also when you're talking about growth, you also have to get on your comfort zone. And I think that's hard for a lot of people. So a lot of people, even if they know better, taking that next step may be uncomfortable. So they choose not to do that. What they're doing is already familiar. So when I talk to my team at work, I basically tell them, if you want to move up to the next level, you have to be comfortable in uncomfortable situations. So when you think of any sort of animal, like think about a snail, think about a crab, think about a spider. Whenever it's time for them to grow, they have to shed their skin or their exoskeleton. For the crabs, shed their exoskeleton, then they have a soft shell. They're completely vulnerable. And then once they're completely vulnerable, their shell hardens, but now they've grown. So it goes the same for any, like, human beings. We get to a position where we're so comfortable, and in order for us to grow, we have to get uncomfortable. And for a lot of people, that's not a space that they be in. So it's easier for them to stay the same. And I always tell people too, one of my favorite acronyms is POUR, right? And to me, what POUR stands for? Passing over opportunities repeatedly. So people oftentimes continuously pass over opportunities, and it's the reason why they're in the situation they're in. So when you talk about know better, do better, are they able to recognize those opportunities, and what are the barriers of entry for whatever it is they're trying to do to allow them to get to the next level or next phase?
So I'm gonna step in real quick and say this, and actually, Matt, I catch your name, please. 'Cause I didn't catch it when I first came on.
Oh, Mario.
Mario.
Yep.
How you doing? My name is Daryl. They call me Torch, bro. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So it's funny because I have a saying amongst myself and my employees. I am where I am because of my work ethic. You are where you are because of your work ethic. If you want to get to where I'm at, work like me or work harder than me. Period. It's not hard. It's not rocket science. It's not hard. It's simple semantics. We all got the same job. We all got the same capability to build. If you want to have this amount of money per week, work this amount of hours. If you don't, work your minimum and go home. You know, but either way, you have the capability doing whatever. But one thing we always talk about is statusism. So, and it's going to touch on something you spoke on earlier. If we're in a room with people who have a minimalistic mindset, we're only going to talk about minimalistic things. But if we're in a room with people who have the mind to dream big, think big, and achieve big, our goals and our outcomes are going to be on a level that surpass what our other room people are thinking, so to speak. So we have to always adjust our conversation based on the people that we're speaking with. So if we're talking to people who have the ability to go get it, of course, we're all going to be of the mindset to go out and achieve more. But if we're talking to people who've been beat down their whole life and don't understand how to get out their own way, we have to adjust our conversation to make sure we know we're something greater than what they've ever thought they could do. That, to me, where the difference lies is it's a hard conversation with somebody who don't trust anybody, but it's an easy conversation for somebody who's always been lucky their whole life. You know what I mean? So we have to find a balance on how to speak to both groups of people in one conversation. You know, we just have to figure out, like, hey, if I give this one speech, how can I touch those hearts of people who've been lucky their whole life while still telling those people who've had to work for everything they've ever ate that they can still make it by following this plan. And that's where we have to put our minds together and kind of like figure out how do we help each other grow based upon what we know is out there for us. Because we know we can fight the enemy as, you know, whatever we view it as, but we also got to know, dude, there's people out there who wake up in the morning and just make money. So how do we communicate with both avenues of people in order to further our dream and everything else?
You know, I agree. I think that one of the things is once we get, like, if you think about W.E.B. Du Bois, he talked about the talented 10th, right? Where there's 10% of the population, it's their job to pull up the other 90% of the Black population. And I think when you get into a leadership position, it's really part of what you're doing to reach back to those people that don't see that don't have the faith in themselves and help them see that what they can achieve and to kind of show them your path. So like at my job, I started off at the very bottom of my job, and now I'm a vice president, you know, of a bank or whatever. What I do is I go back and talk to the tellers, I talk to the bankers, I talk to the people who are at the very bottom and let them know that there is somebody live, living, breathing, that they can touch, reach out to, and speak to, that'll help them navigate that road. I think a lot of times, like when I came in in the beginning at the very bottom, there wasn't somebody I could talk to. My dad was on drugs, you know what I mean? I couldn't reach out to him and ask him for career advice. So I just had to grind. But once you get into a position where you make those contacts, it's all about pulling those other people up with you. I had a teller who she only graduated high school. She didn't go to college. She felt like she couldn't be anything more because she didn't have that education. But getting her to see that it's not about education. If she outworked everybody else, she could be where she wanted to be. And she used to be mad at me because I used to give her more complex customers. I used to give her different tasks to do that she thought were really hard. And she was like, why are you doing this to me? This is too hard. But I really pushed her, and now she's in a position that she wants to be in. But it's getting those people to be uncomfortable and being okay with you being a leader and knowing that people are going to be mad at you. They're not going to always agree with you. They're not going to see your vision. But some of these people, if you have faith in them, you just have to pull them along with you. And so for me, I'll invest in anybody who's willing to invest in themselves. But if you're not willing to do the work, I can't attach myself to you because all you're going to do is pull me down when I'm trying to pull you up.
So this is where conversation is everything. You told her she didn't need organized education to achieve her goals, yet you gave her education in order for her to achieve her goals. You understand? Like you put her in a scenario where she had to learn. So this is where if we want to give people choices on how to be great, we have to understand both sides of the aisle. While you may choose hands-on education, she may still have benefited from book education. Now, myself, I'm like you. I'm a hands-on education type person. Let me show you, let me teach you. You got it from here, you're going to eat. But I also understand that's the limiting idealism, because what if that person can read that book that we was bored reading, take that book and turn it into something that can become great for them? So what we always want to push is, first, whether it be organized education or whether it be hands-on education. So, but I understand where you was going with your message. Trust me, Steve.
I think more or less too what Mario was saying is like once you get put in a tough position, you either fight or flight. And either you take that and you let that motivate you to go push and go do better, or you give up.
Yep, I agree.
And you lay down. And honestly, I'm not even lying. Like I've been in a rut lately. And in the beginning, I was kind of just like, fuck it. You know, I kind of was like, I'm gonna just lay down for a minute. But then I had a lot of people on my ass. Like, you know, you got so much more talent. You're smarter than this. You can go out there and get any job you want to. Why would you let being laid off from one job be your downfall? When it was definitely a blessing in disguise.
Right.
And another motivating thing too, Mario, is like my manager right now, he said some shit to me the other day that made me be like, you know what? I could become a CEO of this motherfucking company in a couple years. As he was like, you know, 10 years ago, I came from the restaurant. I know shit about finance. And now he's the manager of the corporate actions department, you know what I'm saying, of a large financial firm. So he didn't know shit. He just learned.
Yeah, and to kind of give you some background, so I have a master's degree. So I'm sitting here when I was talking about the team member, she has a high school diploma. She's not planning on going back to college. And I do have the formal education. But when I got into her role starting off, my master's degree didn't help me go past anybody. It was all the little tricks of the trade. I'm sure at your job, there's certain things that you know, okay, they're going to teach you this way, but let me show you the way you need to do it to be successful here. And I think a lot of times we don't give people the heads up, like, okay, you could do it this way, but let me show you how to get around this. And if somebody's not planning on going back to school, you can push formal education to them, but if they're not going to go back, they're going to be stuck in the same place. And some people are not going back to school, you know? And so they've resolved their life to just work in this job every single day, and they don't see the possibilities. So once you identify those possibilities for them, you got to get them step outside their comfort zone, take those more complex customers, take the additional trainings, take the classes, and have them yell at you, why are you making me do this? I don't understand why I have to do this. How come so-and-so doesn't have to do it? And then once they get where they're going, like now that girl is balling. She's a private banker. She has licenses, her Series 7, 6, 63. And this is somebody that never even went to college, right? But now she looks back and she's like, I'm so glad you pushed me. But it's like, who is going to come along and say, you know what, you're this person that didn't do this with your education. That's only a teller. I see you being greater than that. And I think that's where we lack when we're in positions of leadership, is that people get to a position of power and then they don't reach back down. I'm gonna go all the way to the bottom and try to take everybody with me. But if you're not willing, I'm like Harriet Tubman. If you're not willing to work, you got to jump off, bro. You got to go figure it out. I'm gonna take everybody who wants to get this money and I'm gonna help them get that money.
Right.
And again, I completely understand where you're coming from. I think my initial point was that I agree with your message. It was just that, you know, I try to shy away from telling people that education is not their particular answer because we don't know, you know what I mean? But I also always and will always believe in the hustle and the hard work of learning your position, becoming a student of your trade, and mastering your craft and growing from there. Because if you're in the right field, you have the potential to do great things. If you're, again, like Treka, for instance, she's doing a podcast. If this podcast is picked up by a nationally syndicated radio station, well, now he's a radio DJ. Just like we used to listen to Davey D in Sacramento and Ebro, who we now know is in New York and these other areas. Like, he didn't set out to become Ebro in New York. He set out to be Ebro on the radio in Sacramento, but because he put his passion forward, he was able to grow from there. So I just, you know, always want to ensure that when we're teaching our young people, we let them know this is a path that will work for you based on what your output is, but never forget you can fall back on grabbing a book and studying, because there's always that fallback. But other than that, I 100% agree with everything you said, because you're right. Some people aren't going to, they're, you know, but it's just, we're not in a position to decide who's going to or not going to go back and grab that book. I've seen people who, based on the output they put forth at that point, you would never think that they would grab a book. And then here it is 5 years later, they're people, bosses who you look down on them. You know what I mean? So it's just keeping all avenues open while still motivating the people who we believe in. But other than that, like I said, I agree with you.
And I agree with you. I think that if somebody expresses an interest to go back to school, because I went to school, I would actually be on their side and try to help them go back. But you have some people that when you're, so, you know, at my job, I have to have one-on-ones. I have to sit down with people and talk to them. And so if you tell me you're not going to go back to school, you don't plan to go back to school, then we got to figure it out. If you say you're going back to school, then let's figure out what hours you can work and let's make this work around your schedule. Because I'm all about getting people educated. So I do agree with you in that sense. But if I have a conversation with somebody and they're telling me there's no way they're going back to school and they're raising a kid and supporting their mom and doing all this stuff, I'll try to get them to go back. But if they're not, then we got to figure it out and figure out a way to get you more money. You not get you paid. Because you can't be teller forever.
Right. No, I agree. That's a specific dynamic that fits that scenario.
Yeah, 100%.
But in the general, just for basic, this being a podcast, I just want to touch the general, you know, people, because I understand where you're coming from, because I at one point I was those people who needed that extra push to be able to reaffirm my position in life. So I appreciate everything you do for these young people who are out here trying to find a way, because without people like yourself, they would be lost. So thank you for everything you do. And we're on the same page. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I just kind of speaking in a more broader sense while you're speaking more specific situation where it might seem we're disagreeing. We're not. We're really on the same page.
Yeah, we all saying the same thing.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm just saying I agree with you too. Yeah.
Yeah. For sure. Yes, sir.
But I definitely, what they say, each one teach one. So I mean, if a lot more people did turn around and reach back,
man, how different would it be? You know,
impact. What'd you say?
And that's the thing. Like, we have a lot of people who say they want to reach back to people, but they don't. You know, they just want to be seen saying what they'll do. But
lying asses.
If everybody reached back in all different fields that we know people to be great in, imagine how many opportunities would be opened up to kids. Like, yo, fashionista, barber, you could be a radio host, you could be a podcast host, you could be a rapper, an actor, an athlete, you could be a doctor, a lawyer, a teacher. Like, there's so many that they can now see, because when we were kids, we had a minimal level of adults to look at and be like, you did that. Now, these kids, man, they can just look left and right and see people who look like them doing great things. So
everywhere.
There's no
everywhere.
Yeah. Now it's the effort. Everything now comes down to effort and the motivation, or the people behind them telling them how great they can be.
Well, yeah, now
and I think a lot of the youth. Go ahead, Rio.
Oh, I was gonna say, now you can YouTube something. I tell my son that all the time. I'm like, if you want to be a great basketball player, you could YouTube some drills you could do. Like back in our day, you just went outside and whatever you could do, that's what you could do. And you couldn't even see what was
shit off the backboard.
That they was looking for. You know what I'm saying? Oh no, my high school team want to run fast breaks. I can't dunk. I'm in trouble. You know what I'm saying? But three, we don't shoot the three. You know what I'm saying? Oh, but I transfer schools now. The three is important. Like you got to be the best shooter and then find where you fit in.
Look, San Diego State made me retire from basketball. I was like, nope, no longer power forward out here. I'm not a power forward. I'm a point guard out this bitch. I ain't got no dribbles, so just wasn't working. You got to find your shoe, fit in it.
I ran track and cross country for 2 different high schools, and I ran 2 different colleges. You know what I'm saying? All because I tried to get in where I fit in, but it made a difference in me letting somebody tell me who I was supposed to be, because I would have failed at that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'd have failed at trying to want me to be, but I was glad that I got to be myself. Like, that makes a difference for everybody, kids included.
I think exposure to seeing people be great is important for everybody, kids and adults, because there's a lot of adults out here that be needing that motivation too. And I mean,
I like what Rio said. Get straight to the point. Don't sugarcoat it and act like, hey, if college ain't for you, let me not blow smoke up your backside,
up your ass
to do college. Like, hey, let's find out what you have a passion for, pushing that direction. You know, same thing with kids who, you know, may not want their life, but they're good at studying. Yo, keep moving forward towards college, you know, but motivate people in the right. I don't know. I feel like that came from a late 90s, early 2000 era thinking where they told us we could do whatever we want to as long as we read a book.
Right. I mean, I won't even lie though. My mom didn't really encourage my creative side, but I had creative and I had book smart. And the choice was book smart. Go with the books. They pushed the books. They didn't allow me to explore my creative. I could have maybe been great at something completely different had I followed my passion. So I think it's very important for people to be teaching their kids or their nieces and their nephews or whatever. Go for your passion. And yeah, you can still go to school and still have a passion. You can still have a job and still do your passion. I mean, I'm not making no money off of this podcast right now. I just do it because I like doing it. And there are some people who doubted it. There's people who still doubt it, but I'm still going to do it. And that's my passion. So I think it's healthy to have these kind of conversations because a lot of times you don't get in the same room with a lot of people who you can have a comfortable conversation and y'all have different perspectives and, you know, actually have a discussion without arguing and disagreeing and fighting and all that shit. Like, it's worthless. Nobody's listening when everybody's yelling and arguing. But
Shan-T's,
really?
she's motivating me to go and organize my bookshelf. I'm letting you know that right now.
Right on.
I'm in the living room because my home office is not. We can't put that on the Zoom, so she's making me want to go in there.
Hey, well, likewise. So, I mean, I got the motivation from other people when I was listening to all these teachers. Their background was plush. I was like, man, I need my own little library. So my husband, who is that's him, right? he actually put this room together for me. You know what I mean? Because it used to be in the kitchen at our condo. I don't know if you remember that, Treka.
Yeah.
So yeah. So that was his idea. He's like, So thank you, Mario. You know what I mean? Shoot. Now when you come up on your bookshelf, then I'm gonna see it. Then I'm gonna be like, man, brother Mario over here, he gonna make me step my game up. I gotta organize my shelf a little bit different.
We inspiring people over here. Motivation. So are y'all gonna hang out for a little bit? We usually do like a little music break right about now, just for a couple minutes, just to freshen up and things.
Yeah,
y'all wanna hang out?
Is this podcast adult friendly? Because I'm about to roll up.
Yeah, it's adult friendly. So do as you must.
Treka been smoking. You ain't seen all them clouds she was in.
I came on late. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I mean? I seen so much cloud a minute ago. I thought she was the weather woman. I was like, hey, could you tell us what the forecast gonna be tomorrow? You know what I'm
saying? Miss Cleo.
I'm in my one talk mode because he had good ass points. So I was like, hell yeah, let's talk.
All right, well, Roselle, you want to throw? Roselle gonna throw in a couple songs. D, you need to give me some new music. Don't be sitting on nothing in the corner over there. I'm gonna holler at you in a second. Roselle,
I'm about to drop the on season instead of the off season.
Okay.
So
let's listen to a couple songs and be right back there.
Imagine what these parents are going through. I think all of us have to do some soul searching to figure out how does something like this happen.
This is me.
I'm a pot smoking, disrespectful asshole. From the Bay, but left my heart in Castro. Busy writing lyrics, washing dishes for the cash flow. Hard to keep track of the goddamn gram smoke, but I gotta stay sane. You be with your dogs, I be with my Great Danes. They all call me Cash, I be trying to make change. Could've moved to LA, they all do the same thing as me. It was recorded with Don and Jay Lee. Jay Lee had about a half recording these songs, and maybe have to roll the blunt and two. Minimum talking, the smoking doesn't stop even after your mama walking blunts. I still being passed, still coughing, promising we gon' be real till we in coffins. Tryna make a slap that the movie girls can vibe to. R.I.P. my nigga, you know me, he had to slide through. You know Spitter had to rhyme too. Me and my homies say the thing that you're blind to. It's like you're blindfold, it's like your mind's full. I got my mind full cause I stay mindful. Get stung if you threaten my beehive. Hate and get this and kiss my black behind. Good vibes, feeling better than a weed high. Trying to shoot some birdies but don't know when it's time. It's trying to be the best since we was kids. Trying to beat the rest but too busy getting lit. Trying to cheat the test and next to certain kids. Looking over shoulders, finish early, wasting time. Was supposed to write an essay but too busy writing rhymes in the corner, reminiscing, rapping about the different times I was later underrated. If you hate it, you could die. Man, I'm kidding, but listen when the nigga on the mic, cause I got shit I gotta say. It's been a few years, still got homies in the age. She was talking about some shows, me and Magic like okay, feeling comfy in these clothes as I'm sitting in this cave, getting hot for all the lows that I witness every day. I got love for who I stay, but I gotta move away. I was cheaper in the desert, so I'm living in the bay. Cause the people in the desert look at you at different ways, and I hate it. Rather rock is out money and people negative.
Check set. Take closet.
Stay live, daylight, and it shines so bright. California sunshine, yeah, California sunshine. California sun shining in the winter. You either eat a steak or wonder what's for dinner. When we was little, they said everyone a winner. They go rush, but you really chasing glitter. The high gone, but you chase it with the liquor. You jogging place, hoping to get thinner. The tech rush, if you ain't techie, then you bitter. Gentrified your ass right out of your rental. I'll move to Antioch, stop in Sacramento. They coming for you next, smiling pretty dental. Don't be surprised that these niggas not that simple. Pretty niggas, popping niggas like a pimple. Bodies laid out, bunch of fallen temples. Who built Wall Street? Never mind your mental. Push the black Wall Street, push the black market. Close to the edge and you pushed it like a racket. Northern California goes, 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 Northern California goes. Man provide for his children. Man got no job, but somehow man got gun. Man no get far if man always gon' run. Fight or flight, boy, tell me where you run from. Running to the strip club, running from his children. Running from the cop car, running from his baby mom. Running to the streets if you try to escape death. When you label him a thief, how the saying go, baby, freedom ain't free. Texas to your message, cause the IRS a ting. Cooked up by the West Wing. Who built the White House? Never mind, just sing. Just dribble, stand up and salute for the team. Kaepernick is Ali, forgot your history. Diego Hoover say shoot down every king. I don't give a damn who the Black Panthers killed. Trayvon Timmy is treated like imitated. Northern California goes, 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 Northern California goes.
I'm in love with you. I don't know how to explain it to you. I can't stop thinking about you. I carry you in my spirit. I pray for you more than I pray for myself. And when you smile like that, my world, it's all right.
Yeah, but we go places we both never been. Light up some weed, have some drinks, then we commit some sins. Fornicating with you is such a sweet blessing. Please forgive me, Lord, I pray this sin will never end. I wanna mate with your soul, make love to your mind. I feel connected every time our bodies intertwine. I know no greater love exists, you're one of a kind. Beautiful and divine, beacon of light that shine. Dark times, you are my life, during hard times, make it seem alright. Don't want to argue, no need to fight. I just want to bring joy in your life. Lord knows with you, I aim to be patient. I just want us to always be adjacent. I want royalty and she's with that. I need loyalty and she is that. Support my dreams and she did that. She believes me and I get that. She makes me work hard and she's so worth it. I give her all my love cause she deserves it. Yeah, you and me and you, girl. I think about you and me and you, girl. Yeah, you and me and you, girl. I fantasize about us taking over the world. You're pinky on the brain. We can switch roles, I won't complain. We can switch roles, switch lanes as we both pursue our dreams. Or like Ashford and Simpson, we're solid as rock. You're Remy Ma and I'm Pop Hooch. Real love and hip hop. We got a good friendship and I'm with it. But when I live with this love and I get it. If you believe in me and invest in our love and multiply triple digit. Yeah, Lord knows with you I can be impatient. I want you so bad that I can't taste it. I love the way you think. Your thoughts turn me on. Your voice soothes my soul and your words put me on. When you're away I have withdrawals, feeling for your touch. I'm a knock for your love and you're my only drug.
Man, Thug Nasty is crazy, Treka. That boy is a fool.
Thug Nasty.
Listen to his music, man.
I love me some Thug Nasty. He gets it popping. We got what, about 4 or 5 minutes left? Is everybody on break? Everybody gone? Everybody muted? Everybody on video? Pause. Am I muted?
Or do you want to?
So, Roselle, now the year's coming to an end. What do you think about our first year podcasting?
I think it's pretty good. I think it was a pretty good year. It's
I mean, we didn't do a full year, but you know.
It's kind of what I expected, though.
You said it's not what you expected?
I said it's kind of what I expected.
Kind of what you expected. What did you expect?
I mean, I expected it to kind of grow how it grew. It actually grew a little bit better than what it was when it first started, but I mean, it takes a little time.
Right.
It's grown. I mean, it's grown from. I mean, you went back and saw the first couple episodes. You didn't seen it for yourself.
Those things is rough to watch. I want to delete them. I'm about to report them joints. Like, take them off YouTube. This is spam.
Your first 2 or 3 shows was almost like it almost felt like I was interviewing more than it was a show.
It's crazy how you used to do all the talking. Now you don't say shit. Ain't that something? I gotta do all the work. Shan-T, so you do a podcast too, or do you just do live broadcasts? You do podcasts?
I do live broadcasts, and if you want to call it podcast, you could. That's what people call it, but I'm not on the podcast show. I usually just stream live on YouTube, and I started more going live at the same time on not just YouTube but Facebook through StreamYard. So I use StreamYard. So you know, when I started streaming on YouTube, of course things are a little rocky because you're just getting into something. It's unfamiliar territory, and I started getting some subscribers definitely, and I said to myself, I do need to get more exposure so that I can get more subscribers so I can do certain things on YouTube that I can't do with certain amount of subscribers. So I started going live on Facebook more. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, but it's just about staying consistent. Okay. You stay consistent, you're gonna grow and add different elements or aspects or different forms of entertainment, and the people will come. as long as you stay consistent, though.
Right.
You know what I mean? Even if you go on like once a week, just keep the same day, same time. I'm bad with that. However, I tells people, I'm like, I might could shoot you a lesson once every 2 weeks, but that's because, like for me, when you putting those lessons together, you have to know what you talking about. You have to be very comfortable and not just your note. You have to formulate your notes. You have to actually read the material. You have to craft it together. You know what I mean? And what I do is not easy. Like when I incorporate, when I teach the reading and translating of the Hebrew to the English and Greek to English, that's not easy, and it takes hella time. So I have to cut stuff short. I have to make it simple. You know what I mean?
Shan-T,
So
I have a question for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
How long is your podcast usually?
Right now, I reduced it to an hour. I don't want to go over an hour, but if I go over 15 minutes, that's good. Now, if I have on a guest, I find myself doing at least an hour and a half to 2 hours, because you got to give the people some time to talk. Other times when I'm doing certain lessons where I have to go into not just reading and translating, I have to go into history and I have to show sources. Sometimes those could take like 2.5 hours. Sometimes people want that. I don't be liking that, because I'll be like, man, that's you taking all day, because some people's attention spans be short. But when I have guests on, I find myself needing at least an hour and a half. But for me personally, I try to keep it between an hour and 15 minutes. That's because I'm doing lessons. Now, if I get on Facebook Live and I share some little inspirational story or whatever, I'll be on there for about 15 minutes. Sometimes I've found myself on there for 50 minutes because I'm pouring my heart out. But for a podcast like this, when you're organized, when you're a company or organization or whatever, 2 hours is great. Seriously, 2 hours is great. But make sure you promote. Make sure you promote, and be consistent with the same day, same time. You know what I mean? And what you guys are doing is cool, because you're getting guests on a lot of times. You know what I mean? So this is a great formula, great format, great flow.
Oh, it's just the rough draft, we'll say.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Still the most, still the less. This is just because I see where things can be different, or where I can improve when I go back and watch my episodes. Every time it's hard to watch some of them, but it's like, okay, this is where I'm going to restructure these things here, and where we're going to revamp stuff. But I mean, like you said, consistency is my thing. It's like I don't want to do it on any other day. It's got to be a Thursday. Like, even doing it right now at this time, being that I'm going to have to get up in a few, hella early. I'm like, damn, why is my shit so late? But, this is the time it's been since it started. So I kind of feel like, people know when to find me, or where, what time or whatever, or not. I don't even think did you even explain what you teach, what you do on your podcast?
Well, yeah, mainly. So I don't want to get too religious, and I don't want to get, too offensive or whatever. But I have a belief, and it does come from being brought up in church. But you find, well, for me, not you, I find out certain things. So when I read the Bible, I was like, O to the M to the G, and I cried. Because so much emphasis was put on these things. So I actually saw a little need, if you will. And a lot of people say, well, that's just your interpretation. I'm like, yeah, but there's got to be some sort of right interpretation, whatever, whatnot. So I actually get into the Bible in a sense of, okay, was it originally written in English? Did these people think like us? Did they move like us? Did they dress like us? Did they eat like us? I'm trying to find out stuff. So I actually go back into sources and try to find out how to actually approach this thing as to, okay, these people were over here in another area and they were over here in a different time frame. Let's go look at how they thought in that time frame, how they dressed or whatever, and the politics they had to deal with there. So I teach stuff like that, and I tell people where to go find the sources to get information. Like I'll just give you an example. I had to learn. Well, you learn the Bible definitely was not originally written in English. So you go find out, okay, what's the languages written in it? And then you got Hebrew, you got Aramaic, you got Greek. All right, you got Hebrew, you got Aramaic, and you got Greek. So what did I go do? I went to go learn some Hebrew and some Greek. I haven't learned Aramaic yet, but I'm on my way there. I want to get solid one more year with that. So, and then I find out the definitions of words that we have is not the same definitions of words back then. So I try to find stuff out like that. You know what I mean? Like if I'm gonna have a belief, I shouldn't be able to know why I'm believing these things instead of just being told, just believe this. Don't ask no questions, just believe it. Just traditionally go with tradition and don't ask no questions. And I want to know why this came about and why I'm engaged in it. And for others who think the same, like, yeah, Shan-T, why is this, how did this appear here? And why are we doing these things? So that's more so what I do. So I bring up the history, and I keep telling people, like, I have a belief, but I don't have an absolute.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I tell people like, but do you believe you're going to heaven? I'm like, well, I don't know. They be like, how the hell is that? You don't know. Cause I'm like, I ain't been here. I'm a realist. You know what I'm saying? People like, well, you going to hell. I'm like, how do you know? You been there? You know what I'm saying? I'm a realist like that. So I don't deal in absolutes. I'm just gonna be like, okay, if we have this belief, let's have some foundation to our belief. Let's have some answers besides just do it because this is what we do. That's what was taught to me early on. Right. Just do this.
Oh, yeah. Especially in church.
Question. Yeah, that was my family. That was my family. And I will say that bred a lot of resentment in me. But some people, a lot of that stuff is cool for people. They need that. You know what I'm saying? Right. But that is enough for them, not me. Right. You know what I mean? So for the people who are like me, like, I want to know why. I want to know the roots. I want, that's what I do.
Okay. So, I mean, I'll be seeing, I catch it every now and then, but I'm like, I look at what you be posting, I'm like, I can't read this.
And I encourage people, like I was a C student in Spanish. And I taught myself that. I was scared off my rockers. You know what I mean? So I want to encourage people, like, you have a choice with anything you do. You know what I'm saying? You got a choice. And I'm not talking about I'm talking about in life general.
Life general.
Yeah, you got a choice. Do what the hell you want to do. Like we was talking about Christmas. Do what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? But
don't
my thing is
obligated to stretch yourself in.
Right. Respect everybody and what they do. Like there's some respect. As long as people are not physically harming, mentally, spiritually, emotionally harming, okay, do what you're gonna do. Respect people though. Respect people in their choices. You know what I'm saying? Respect people in their choices. I'm about that too. Because like I said, I got shunned from my family for this. I did. Mm-hmm. I definitely got shunned. However, after a while, they understood because my approach was still in love. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm doing this for me.
Right.
the hell? You see my life good, ain't it?
Right.
I ain't tripping. You know what I
Right.
mean? I'm still kicking it with Treka. You know what I mean?
That's what's that.
So yeah, that's what I'm about. Just telling people, hey, let's start respecting one another, man. Like just a little bit better than what we've been doing here. You know?
And because I don't think anybody has an absolute truth. Don't nobody know what's real truth and what's facts. Like what's facts to you is not facts to me. And your perspective, I can't see your perspective. That's your eyes.
Right.
So, I mean, everybody likes to hold people to certain things, but you don't understand what the next person has been through or what they believe in.
Yep.
Maybe what they think is bad is good. You know
like
what
Mario
I'm saying?
Mario said, big word, experiences. Okay.
Yes. Right.
Everybody has their experiences, and you cannot take that away from people.
No.
You know what I mean?
And you can, and even if you went through the exact same experience with somebody, your perspective about it is going to be different than theirs, no matter if y'all was standing side by side. You looked at it one way, they saw it one way. And that's why I stray away from, I try to stray away from social media when it gets into all that bullshit. I don't watch the news. Like, I just think that there's so much going on with, we're all supposed to be different. Ain't nobody supposed to be the same.
I agree.
We're an extension of, for me, I believe we're an extension of a higher power. He wants us to express and go out and expand and extend in different directions and experience different things. So, I mean, let's let people be.
Right.
If they like it, I love it.
Right.
I mean, my family wasn't too happy about me saying I'm not going to church anymore,
They probably shunned the hell out of
I grew up in church.
That's crazy, man.
I did my sentence. So, I'm free. You know what I'm
but
saying?
You know why that's about? I'm gonna tell you what that's about. Because they don't have no answers for you other than, well, this is just what we do. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have no answers. So it's like, and that's why I tell people about this information age today. These children, they got Google. They got the information highway of the internet, man. These children gonna question everything. You cannot just run and tell them what you want them to know, and then they be like, oh, I'm gonna just take it and run with it. Nah. They have been given the ability to know that they can question. You just can't run game on these children no more. Can't run game on people. So it's like, that's why I say it all goes back to choice too. If somebody makes a choice because they found out some things now that they know better, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, they're choosing to do what they do. You know what I'm saying? But see, I'm gonna tell you like this. Disassociating, people have come to associate going to church with, this is what makes us a family. That's what was taught to me. This is what makes us a family. This is what makes us together. If you don't do this, you're breaking up this family.
Right.
That's what was taught. So maybe that's what happens, Treka, but they don't know no better, Treka. Charge it to their head, not to their heart. And you know what I mean? Like, they don't know.
It really wouldn't matter. It don't matter to me because I can't change what I come to feel as truth to me, because that's my truth. So if it don't match them, then it just don't match them, And I mean, I wish that more people would question things that are just told and forced to you from generation to generation to generation. Like, nobody had one question, like, why the fuck are we doing this again? Like
why do our children grow up without life insurance? You know what I mean? That's my thing. I think Christmas gifts should include life insurance,
right?
And mutual funds and stocks and financial literacy things. You know what I'm saying? Set these children up. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
I've been real. I would have been real okay by now.
You know,
what I'm saying?
life insurance. You know what I mean? Not GoFundMe. I ain't got nothing against GoFundMe, but life is a little better when you got some insurance.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely it is. But it's just like what that's one of the biggest things that I feel like we need to start passing along more is that financial literacy. I think that was the best thing. That's the reason why I wanted this job the most. Because I was like, you know what, this is not just gonna give me a good job, but this is gonna teach me some shit that I can go back to the hood and I can go back to my family and educate people. Because the only reason I started getting educated is because I got some of these things from my previous job. But now to be immersed into the shit and have to learn everything, and I'm gonna have that fucking game. Oh yeah, and I know I'm the first in my family, or one of the very first in my family that's gonna get this kind of information. I'm definitely going back. Shit, I might start just talking to random ass strangers. I walk down the street telling them shit, just to tell them what I know. You know, did you know about your dividends and shit? You don't know? Let me tell you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how excited I am about it. But it was just like, I don't know. I had a moment where I was like, I don't think I'm qualified for this. And that's because you get programmed to think, you know, you can only do certain things if you come from a certain place or you know, certain education. This job I would have never applied for if I already had a job.
What is the job, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm a corporate action specialist for a financial company. So, and I work in the dividends department. So I'm in the money. Yeah, I'm where the money resides. But I mean, it's a cool ass company. Of course, a lot of people are not in the office because of the COVID, but I see a lot of good things. And it's an entry level position, but it's not an entry level position. You know what I'm saying? So I was blessed. And the fact that I went into the whole interview, I'm like, yo, I don't know shit about this, but I can learn. Like we was talking about earlier, if you want to do better, you can. You just got to have that. You got to want to do it. Can't nobody want it for you. So, I mean, I definitely, I'm not going to lie, I prayed a lot, but I also didn't let it psych me out either. It's like, well, what's the worst that could happen? They say no.
Yeah, right.
No
right.
is what you had before you didn't apply, right? So go ahead. 50-50 chance. So
may I ask a question of you and Roselle about this podcast?
Yeah.
What's the direction that you wanted this podcast to go? What was the main elements or aspects of this podcast that you wanted to bring forth to the masses?
I think the main focus was at first talking about, you know, people who've gone through like spiritual journeys or, you know, growth with mental health and stuff like that, because that was what I was going through at the time that the podcast was, you know, became a thought. And then, you know, eventually just turned into, you know, bring on some people that I could just interview and we just shoot the shit. Or, you know, let's bring on some music artists, you know, and let them, you know, have a music artist show. Or I had a financial literacy show where we brought a couple of financial advisors on and realtor on. And sometimes it's a little bit more cohesive. And then sometimes it's just like this. I mean, I can't lie to you. I was tired today. I was like, Lord, I don't know if I could do it. But, you know, I've been laying down sleep for long enough. I didn't have my vacation. It's time to get to work, Mom. So, but I've been working on some different ideas about some things that will be changing with the new year. So
So y'all got some New Year's resolutions popping off?
I'll let everybody else go first.
No, you. If you on mute, Mario, if you talking.
I was laughing. I think the thing for me is just stay healthy. You know what I mean? I think we always underappreciate our health. So I think for me, it's going to be staying healthy and just, all the rest of it will fall into place. But just staying healthy and making the most memories I can in 2022.
What's that? Roselle, what you got?
Ro gonna do a little more Roselle. He gonna do a little bit of self-care for himself.
Oh, okay.
He's always out, always doing stuff. So Ro gonna start doing a little more stuff he want to do. So that's what's gonna happen.
Being selfish is not being selfish. I mean, I would just want to keep riding the momentum. I don't know. I don't even got a resolution. I'm already living in 2022.
Yeah,
mine was to get up out that darkness.
Get up out the darkness and stay up out the darkness. Right.
Yeah.
I don't even got no resolutions. I don't make no resolutions, but like Mario and Roselle said, I think definitely.
Mario, why are you looking like that?
What me? That I don't just got no resolutions.
You answer the question.
She was like, "Y'all got New Year's resolutions," and like, I don't make no resolution.
I mean, for the people who do, you know why?
Like, what's your New Year's resolution? Everybody shares their New Year's resolution.
Because I got an everyday resolution. You know what I'm saying? I got an everyday resolution. And it agrees with you though. Like you said, health. I need to every time I say I need to take my butt around this HOA circle we got and jog around here at least 3 times. I keep saying I'm gonna get back on it. So I'm like, man, it just needs to just happen. I can't wait for January 1st. It just need to go ahead and happen. You know what I mean? Mario, that's my problem.
High five.
Oh, this is children's.
Yeah. I think health is the biggest thing. Mental, physics, spiritually, emotionally, like just making sure we're on top of that. All.
Yeah, I definitely agree with y'all on that. I got a little situation I gotta meditate on too, because it's gonna mess with my mental health if I don't do something about it. It don't involve me, but it involves somebody who's related to me, and I know their mental health is just jacked up. You know what I'm saying? So I got some choices to make now. It's I gotta really meditate on it, because if I do the first step, some things gonna happen, and if they do, I'm gonna have to cuss somebody out because I don't care. When somebody's life is on the line, I don't care, man. It's time to. That's what I said. Health is very important. So that's something I definitely been on my mind the last 2-3 weeks.
And you know what? Sometimes it takes somebody that is not even the person that is suffering to step in, to be that ignition, to get that.
Yeah, I'm gonna step in. It's just, it's gonna create a domino effect, and that domino effect gonna have me, cussing some folks out. And yes, I did say cuss some folks out. Because some people just need to get dealt with. You know what I mean?
Get dealt with.
For real. I mean, you know why? Because I'll say this. The person I'm talking about is a child. They're a minor. You know what I'm saying? We talking about give our children things. I'm very, 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 I'm very affirmative, and yes, give children things. You know what I mean? But more than things, the children need safe place to be children. And if I see they're not having a safe space to be children, and their mental health is deteriorating, and there's some things where their life is on the line, time to step up.
I think people need to think more about kids and the kids and in their mental health, because a lot of people don't address it enough. And kids be going through some things. I mean, all these little school shootings, this is kids. So, I mean, and you think about all the kids that do. I don't know why I came across this, but I was looking at how many young kids commit suicide. And I'm just like, this is sad. Like,
because the children, they're not really given what they need to be children. Like, yeah, gifts are cool. Material gifts are cool, but
love is way better.
Thank you. What about the gift of love? And what's encompassed in love? Attention, affection.
Love is way better than gifts.
I mean, no, it's just a show, but there's other ways to show. That's what I mean. There's other ways to show to make sure the children have everything they need to thrive comfortably, and like you said, not be stressed. So, like you said, a lot of children are committing suicide, and that's near and dear to my heart, because I know quite a few children who've tried to commit suicide. People are like, man, what problems do you have? You're just a child. See, that's the problem. We think they're not human beings, and we think they don't got no feelings and emotions off stuff. But yeah.
And people don't realize that a lot of the struggles that adults go through is because they struggle, they stress, they have mental health, or had situations when they were kids. When you say, what's wrong with you? You're not old enough to have stress. Yeah, you are. I done seen some kids stress the hell out because their mama was a crackhead and they don't know if she was coming home or not. So
right. That would stress you out, wouldn't it?
That's stress. Shit, I was stressed.
You just in grief, or your mom and your dad leaving you at home, and you going out to the club, you kicking it, or you at your homie house and you just doing whatever you want to do, and the children at home you ain't even left no food in the refrigerator. You know what I'm saying? But you asking the children why they stressed.
Yeah.
Sorry to be so somber, but I'm like, man, look.
Nah, it's a real ass subject. I mean, I tell people this all the time. I'm going through therapy, and a lot of what I deal with in therapy is child trauma. So, yes, things happen as I became an adult, but a lot of it all stems back to shit that happened when I was a kid. So,
see, are not your children years supposed to be the best years of your life?
Oh yeah, for most people, and I think a lot of people, they block out the bad shit. They just remember the good shit. Like, oh yeah, I had so much fun as a kid. But yeah, I had a great time as a child too. But I also had some stressful ass times as a kid. And I went through some things that a kid shouldn't have had to go through. So
yeah,
I agree. I think not on the vein of what you're talking about too, but I think that not what either one of you guys are talking about, because I mean, I think we've all like experienced stuff like that if you grew up in like a bad neighborhood or something too. But I think some of the trauma that we have is self-inflicted by parents. We have like mothers who overcompensate for not having a father. So they basically spoil their male children, give them a bunch of stuff, and they make it so they can't take care of themselves. And then they shove them out into the world. And these men are unprepared to deal with the things that come with being a man. And they're so used to having their mother protect them that they're dysfunctional. And so I think a lot of times as parents, it's our job to also allow your kids to go through the normal tough times, not the stuff like you're talking about, like that children shouldn't have to go through, or your dad's a crackhead, or my dad was on drugs, stuff like that. But I think sometimes you have to be able to discern what is okay for your child to go through and this normal facet of life, and then what things you should shield them from that might potentially hurt their mental state.
Right. Like, I mean, let kids be kids.
Yeah.
But it's like you said, when it's a single parent, that overcompensation, and it could go vice versa too. She builds her daughters up to be super strong and independent, and they don't know how to give or receive true love or how to use discernment when they come across men, because that's not one of the things that was taught to them. Is you don't need a man. You could be strong, you can be independent, you can do this by yourself, but you do need to, you have to have a balance. It can't be hard all the time.
Well, I think as men, I think that's the thing that I've discovered, is that you are taught to be hard all the time, right? And then we're also at a young age taught to, conquer women. And that was something that I had to figure out when I was in college. Like my relationships with women weren't healthy because I wasn't looking for a relationship with anybody, because when you're a young man, everybody's like, oh, you're gonna be a lady killer. How many girlfriends do you have? Oh, he's so handsome. He's gonna go do that. So you're raised to think that the goal is to get all these women. And then if you're successful in doing that, when you go to college, I'm not saying I was successful. I'm just saying my time at San Diego State. If you're successful,
I have a non-disclosure.
You realize that it's not all it's cracked up to be. I remember going to San Diego State in my senior year of high school. Me and my cousin were sitting around and we were talking about what we were going to do. Like, these girls, and it's going to be this. And you go to school and you do that and you realize it's not what everybody says it is. And you still feel lonely, even though you have all these people around you. So you're trying to figure out what's wrong. Like, why do I still feel that emptiness, even though I got 5-6 girls that I'm messing with, And then I used to remember seeing my friends who are with their girlfriends and being like, I wish I just had one person that I could be with. But whenever I got really close to somebody, I pushed them away because I also felt like at that time you're vulnerable. Because if I have 6 people and somebody messing with another dude, I don't care, because I don't care about you. I'm not tripping. Do whatever, do you. But if I have one girl and somebody messes, I can't be like, I don't care. So you're vulnerable. So I think that vulnerability is something, especially if you grow up in a bad neighborhood, like I grew up in East Oakland, that vulnerability is kind of scary because you don't want anybody seeing that side of you, because if you grow up in those type of neighborhoods, that's when people take advantage of you or you become a victim.
May I add something to what you just said, Mario?
Yeah.
There's a documentary that I purchased on YouTube. I ran across it when I was doing some biblical studies. Go figure, right? And it brought up a documentary called The Mask You Live In. And guess what it brought up? What you just brought up about how it says, and these professors from Stanford actually put the documentary together. And they said between the ages of 5 to 7, our young boys are taught to, be a man. Don't cry, don't show no emotion. Don't be vulnerable. If you cry, you're a sissy. You have to dominate, control, and compete. It's on YouTube. I paid for it. It was worth every penny. But it's called The Mask You Live In, and it's a play on the word masculine.
Oh, masculine. Okay.
Yeah.
That's dope. Crazy. I'm gonna check it out. I think, but it's true though. But I think as Black people, just in general, like even when I raise my kids, I catch myself being like, "What you crying for? What's going?" Because you know how tough the world is outside, And sometimes my daughter and I will talk, and she might be going through something, and I'm always like, if you think it's tough now, wait till you get out the house. You know what I mean? And so I think a lot of times it's a thin line between when do you have those comforting conversations and when do you have those conversations where it's just a normal something that they're going through. And the other thing that I know is like in the schools that we send our kids to now, they're a lot softer. You know what I mean? So everything is like, like I remember my daughter was in elementary school. She'd be like, oh, it's bullying and people are bullying and this girl's a bully. It's like when you get to the real world, that's what happens. Like you gonna go to work and say you're a bitch and it's nothing you can do. You gotta place. You can't go to your manager and be like, yo, she's a bully. You know what I mean? You walking down the street and somebody's like, hey, fuck you. You can't be like, oh my God, he's such a bully. Like, you got to deal with it. So it's tough because our kids now are growing up in this space where everybody's supposed to be a winner. There's no losers. There's no first team. My son is doing basketball. So I was like, well, how do you figure out who's on the first team, the second team, third team? They're like, oh, we mix all the kids up so nobody feels like they're not on the winning team. Okay, well, what happens when this dude goes and he doesn't get his job? You know what I mean?
Right.
Everybody doesn't get it. And the crazy thing is once they get out of elementary school, you go to high school or you go to junior high and everybody doesn't make the team. And it's a shock. It's like, what do you mean I make the team? You know? So it's tough because you have to balance the fact that they're making these kids a lot softer than we were. And their emotional state is a lot more fragile. You know what I mean? But also where we grew up, it was also really fucked up. I remember like I was a pee-pee girl and booger girl. And then I remember I got older and got to be like 20 years old. And I'm like, damn, she was probably going through some stuff. She probably smelled like pee because she didn't have new clothes. You know what I mean? Like, what was she going through at home? But when you at school, you just going hard on everybody. You know what I mean? I'd be in my class and we would just go back and forth with everybody in the class. Like anybody could get it. And then you get older and you realize, well, that's not the right way either. But the way we're going now is also the other extreme.
Right. We need to find a balance because now they raise us little punks. Like, come on.
Hey, Treka, I'm gonna jump in on this one. Because me and Treka done talked about this. And I'm an only child. So, and I explained this to her. I said, the reason why sometimes I come off the way I come off is because my mom and dad always told me when they gone, that's all I got.
Yeah.
So I think like that. So I tend to, when I work and stuff, I do a lot of stuff to keep going because I kind of thinking that maybe it's psychological, I don't know, but I keep going because I think if I ain't got
because
it's
been instilled in you.
Grab my back with it, so I make sure I'm okay. So sometimes when I come off, they get intimidated, like I'm trying to be a certain way, but I'm not. That's just how I am.
Well, I think when you're an only child, because I'm an only child too. So I think when you're only, so my situation is kind of weird. I mean, we all have these situations. My situation is weird because when I was 19, I found out I had an 18-year-old sister. So my whole life I was raised as an only child. And then some girl popped up at my house one day when she was 18 asking to see my dad. And my mom was like, what? And then she was like, yeah, I'm his daughter. And so that's when my parents finally divorced. My dad was already on drugs. My mom was trying to work through the drug addiction. But then she found out my dad had cheated on her when I was 1 year old. So that's when she was like, okay, you done. But it's crazy because I think as an only child, you realize that you are the only person that has your back. So when you're in school, you basically do have to go hard. You have to make sure that you're protecting yourself at all costs. And you got to look at every single angle. So when I was in school, especially growing up in East Oakland, being light skinned, I used to always get in fights because people would first of all think I'm going to come take his jacket. I'm like, no, you about to earn this jacket. You know? I'm light skinned, but I'm not that type of light skinned.
Talking about the starter jacket, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. You're not gonna take my
I know.
You don't have to earn that jacket.
Yeah, you have to earn the jacket. And so the crazy thing is once you get into a bunch of fights, then people realize, okay, he's not like that. But it's you don't have nobody to come behind you and have your back or be like, don't mess with him or team up with you. So you just got to take on everybody until, and so people used to think I was crazy because they're like, you crazy because as soon as somebody walk up on me, I'm just swinging. So my thing was, I got into a fight one time where I let somebody walk up on me thinking we're going to do the little pushy or the bump the shoulder and walk around in a circle. And the dude took off on me. And I was like, oh, that'll never happen again. Right. So next time somebody walk up on me, I'm just taking off on them. So it's crazy because when you're an only child or you grow up in those situations, you grow up in survival mode. And so I think that's the difference is when I see my kids and they're going through whatever challenges they go through at school, I'm like, well, you have both of your parents. Your dad's not on drugs. You don't live in East Oakland. You don't deal with none. Like your friends aren't getting killed. So I don't really understand the mental struggles that they have because to me, it's like, what are we complaining about? But to them, it's like a big deal. So it's like one of the biggest things is trying to raise these kids to be tough and not be fragile, but they shouldn't have to go through what you went through. I have to explain that to my mom all the time. She's like, well, how are they going to be street smart? Well, I don't want them to be street smart. I just want them to have common sense.
They don't need to be street smart.
I appreciate you saying
that. Drug dealers or get shot for you to learn, don't do this, or you should do this. Right.
I think that we as a people are so programmed to be in survival mode from day one. Like, it's hard to break out of that mentality. Like, ain't nobody out here killing nobody in this good ass neighborhood. Like,
and it's
they
okay.
Don't need the street smarts.
But the thing is, it's okay. I think a lot of times people think that they're less of a person if they don't come from that. When I went to San Diego State, we talked about this before, Trek. When I went to San Diego State, I came straight from East Oakland. So I went to San Diego State, and all these dudes from LA was telling me they was Bloods and Crips, and they was from this neighborhood, that neighborhood. And I don't know. I'm not from LA, so I don't know what any of that means. You know what I mean? Whatever neighborhood you claim, I never been there. I'm not. So I'm from East Oakland. So I'm thinking they telling me the truth. I'm like, okay, these dudes telling me the truth. So we get to a situation, and let me preface this by saying, when I went to San Diego State, I had a pistol. I brought my pistol with me to school because I didn't know nobody. So these dudes were like, hey, you want to go shoot dice? I'm like, cool, let's go shoot some dice. I ain't tripping. Like, it is what it is. But I'm like, I'm gonna bring my pistol with me because if I win, I don't want them to try to jump me. So we shooting dice. Boom. I shoot my dice. Boom. You gotta remember, this is the 90s. So the pants are super baggy. So I stand up. And my pistol fall out.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm like a 30 waist with 42 jeans. You know what I mean? So I stand up. Boom. Pistol fall out my pants. Everybody in the house tripping. But I'm like, you guys are the Bloods and the Crips, right? What are you tripping? But it's just, we're so programmed to feel like we have to say we're from a bad neighborhood in order to be validated with our people.
Yeah.
So it's crazy, because when I was in school, I realized, like, oh, okay, these kids are just for play. They're pretending. This isn't real. And then I realized I had to take it down the tone. I was like, okay, don't mess this up, Mario. You're going to get in trouble with this pistol on. You're going to get kicked out of school, and you're going to be back in East Oakland. These kids aren't for real. So you don't even need to do this. And so I think a lot of times the funny thing I realized is all the kids that were from somewhere were chilling out and relaxing, and all the kids who were from middle class neighborhoods were trying to prove that they were gangster, or they were hard, or they were from a bad neighborhood.
For no reason.
Well, because people want to feel like they belong. And I think it's tough when somebody's being authentic around you and you realize they're really from somewhere, and you feel like you're not from somewhere. You don't want to tell them that you got both of your parents and you didn't have to go through that struggle. Like, everybody's trying to belong to that struggle. And right. I think that's tough too, because a lot of women I dated wanted to belong to that struggle. They saw me struggling and wanted to be a part of it. And we're consistently, as Black women, they're consistently trying to fix broken men, right? Instead of people holding you accountable, everybody's trying to fix you, or they want to be a part of that struggle.
Well, they think they can change you.
Well, I think that's women just in general. I tell women I'm not looking to date anybody, and they be like, when you come around, it's gonna be beautiful. And I'm like, I'm never coming around.
You know why that happens with most women? Because that's what the women's are taught a lot. Not all, but some. There's a lot of women we're told, well, for example, we're taught ways to actually control men or fix men, right? We're told, oh, way to a man's heart is through his stomach, right? And we're told we can control you by that. I was taught, hey, Shan-T, you can control a man by what he sees on your feet. You know what I'm saying? This is no lie. And a lot of these things are not just told by the women, but the men too. You know what I mean? Leaders in the community. You know what I mean? So they're teaching the women that they can fix a man, or this is what they can do to heal a man, or what we're called, or we're the nurturers. You know what I'm saying? You know where I heard a lot of this stuff from?
Church.
Church. They be programming your ass. That's why they make us go to church. Go to church.
70% of churchgoers are women, and they single. But we're told how to fix or nurture a man, and I'm like, okay.
Well, it's because that agenda is pushed by broken men, right? I mean, because the only way they're going to continuously have these women is to teach these women how they should be accepting of a broken man, or a man broken, and they should try to fix it and nurture a man.
That's jacked up that a broken man would want to see this. Yeah, we're putting broken men leaders in positions, and what do they do? Like you said, they're the ones teaching that you can
They
fix.
manipulate the situation.
That's crazy, man. We got to do better. God damn.
It's
Okay,
hurting in the
It's tough because what is the, you got to look at what the hidden agenda is, because a lot of times when you look at these churches, I won't say all churches are like this, but a lot of times you'll see that the leader of the church is secretly having relationships with the women in the church. So of course he's going to push the agenda to make that acceptable and to make people feel like they need to be nurturers and they need to be givers and bring food and give, and because who does that benefit? You know what I mean?
And be forgiving. Yeah. Be forgiving because your ass out there cheating. No.
You stupid, Treka. But a lot of, like you said, Mario, a lot of women are taught as young women, girls, teenagers, and then 20s, they're taught you can fix a man.
It's like the church is a farm.
I'm not saying all, but that's my experience. You know what I'm saying? But this can happen with any type of leadership.
Right. Well, I tell my daughter
beyond.
I tell my daughter, I said, you a black person and you a woman, so you got to be twice as strong as everybody.
Mentally,
none of the respect
and physically.
Yeah, and men are going to try to tear you down. If a man finds you and you on a higher level, he going to try to make you feel like it's something wrong with you. And if you look at society, our society is crazy because no matter how successful a woman is, if she doesn't have a man, people question her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could be, billionaire, whatever it is, it's gonna be like, well, why isn't she married?
Oprah.
It's something wrong with her. But at least Oprah has Stedman. She has a man next to her, but you don't have no man next to you. It's like you don't know what you do.
But if she
still was getting at her about Stedman too.
No, hold on. Let me ask this about Oprah. Is she legally married to Stedman?
I don't think so.
See, that's why people still talk about her, even though he's by her side. You know what I mean?
Every now and then they'll bring it up like some little dirty rats.
Yeah.
Like,
so
nice.
yeah. Even though he might be by her side, definitely that legal marriage though. If they don't got it, that's why people still looking like something's wrong with Oprah. They want her status, like you said, but they
come up with rumors about her and Gail.
People still come up with all sorts of stuff because there's no. To me, I see there's that piece right there. she not legally married. You know what I mean? But
women have it tough too because you look at the way that they've set up the men's situation. You have somebody like George Clooney. He can be a love interest no matter how old he is. And a woman, if you get over a certain age and it's like you cast out, you too old. You got all these women thinking like they 30 years old or whatever, and they feel like I'm too old. I'm not. And it's like there is no people. Oh, and men do this too. They put a time frame on what their success should be or what their life should be. And there is no time frame. Like
it's limitless.
Yeah.
Oh, he went out right on time.
Oh, dang.
I know he always spitting some shit too.
You got to tell him we can't hear him. You got to tell Mario.
I can't. Oh shit.
Mario.
I have my chat on.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes.
I was just saying when people go through their journey, you don't know what their journey is or what they went through to get there.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
All right, y'all.
You know what made them go there. And I mean, like you said, like men it's different. Men can be old as hell. They like, oh, he's so sexy. How old is Denzel? You still got young women like Denzel, fine as hell. But shit, and women hit 30, 35. I don't know why. I don't know what put this in certain. I'm not gonna say all.
Kevin Samuels. Kevin Samuels.
Yes. Who said that we was done at 30? Like I don't.
You hit a wall. He calls it the wall.
I don't expire. I'm not.
But guess what? Guess what? Kevin Samuels exposed the mindset of a lot of brothers out here. You know what I mean? He just put it on Front Street. So yeah, it is. It is. Go ahead.
I mean, I don't watch all of Kevin Samuels' videos, but I think some of what he says is true, though, in the sense that you have some of these women So I have a friend, I'm gonna tell you this. I have a friend, she has really high expectations of what she wants from a man, and it's not realistic. She's a successful Black woman and she makes a ton of money. And at the age we're at now, she's like, well, I want a man that has a six-pack. I want him to have this. He needs to drive this. He needs to make X amount of money. But the guys that are at our age that are making that money are not going to look for the woman that's their same age. They're going to look for the trophy that they can take around.
Younger.
So I think a lot of times it's tough because women have these expectations of what men should be, but she don't have a six-pack. You know what I mean? Like she not walking around, you know what I mean? So it's crazy because you have these expectations, but then you don't want to settle for somebody that doesn't meet all your criteria.
Right.
It goes back to some of these broken men.
Yeah.
They're teaching these women these things. Like, yeah, girl, like I hear all the time. Well, men are supposed to be the providers. That's what's drilled in these chicks' heads. Men are supposed to be the providers. So guess what? They go out here expecting, yeah, so what I make, so what I make all this money. The man, just because he's a man, he's supposed to provide. He's still supposed to come in, and even though I make six figures, he got to make more than me because he's the man. Because that's what they hear a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Mario?
no, I get it.
But the women do have unrealistic expectations. Some of the women do have unrealistic expectations off top.
For sure.
I think that's one of the reasons why we have problems with Black relationships too, is because there's these expectations for both men and women that just aren't there. You know what I mean? Like, for instance, if you're a man and you provide for your wife, that's the way it's supposed to be. It's cool. But if you're a woman and you provide for your husband, then your husband's a piece of shit. He's like lazy. Why you would? He's crap. Like, he could be the best person in the world, but we're looking at, you know, what is he doing for you financially? And so you get in these situations where people have good people, but they're not valuing them being good because they're like, what are you doing for me financially?
Mm-hmm. Once you get them finances out of there, that's the real shit. Well, all right, y'all. I mean, I guess it's about time to wrap her up.
All right.
I know we can get to talking. We could probably go all night, but you know,
I can't.
I don't want to fall asleep on y'all.
I gotta go to work.
I gotta go to work, Mom.
All of a sudden, you just see 3 boxes on there, be like, Mario left the chat. He didn't even say bye. He just left. That was hella abrupt.
Oh yeah.
Like your boy didn't even come back for break.
Oh yeah, D.
He was like, yeah, we're gonna take that break. He gave us a head fake. Everybody jumped. He was like, everybody was like, oh, he was out.
You know, are you talking about my husband?
Yeah.
I could have told y'all that because he was halfway there when he was talking.
It wasn't gonna be long.
He was like, yeah, we're gonna take this break real quick. He was like, can we roll up? Yeah, okay.
Not coming back.
I was looking forward. I was like, man, we have a good conversation. I came back, it was 4 squares.
Yeah, he was snoring 2 minutes later.
Telling me I like him. He's a solid dude.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it definitely was a pleasure having both of y'all on. Great conversation. We went all over the place. I don't even know where we started, but I like how it ended. You definitely always welcome. Come back. This is gonna be your home. But yeah, everybody have a good rest of the weekend. Stay safe out here in these streets. I'll see you around. Good night.
Good night.
Caught me singing.